Shut the hell up.
Okay. All right.
I'm waiting for you to find. You're looking for a sound, and I see you scrambling.
No, I was waiting for the video to come up on our live stream so that the very nice, kind, incredible, handsome, intelligent, smart people who watch the show every day didn't have to put up with that. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Friday morning edition of the Rob Brown Radio program starts right now. Great to have you. Happy Friday. How's your week? Good, I hope. I just hope everything is spectacular, man.
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Why?
You know why?
Oh, Amy, how I adore you. I really do. What a day we got lined up today, kids. We got a crazy weekend. I know it doesn't feel like it. Because for the first time since August, there's no football this weekend. I mean, there is if you count the Pro Bowl game.
If you're into flag football, I mean, you know.
If you're into flag football, if you're counting the pro, I for one, big fan. Big fan.
Did you know the skills challenge was on last night?
I did. I actually watched a chunk of it.
I watched a chunk of it too once I saw, oh, that's on. I forgot about that. I tuned in just in time to see CJ Stroud doing the skills challenge.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Bake did a good job. I love that Ryan Clark went up to him after, and he's like, Bake, they were worried that you hadn't got enough time after the playoffs came to an end for you. They were worried that maybe you wouldn't have enough time to get ready for this event. And he goes, yeah, well, the last pass I threw went to a Lion, so I definitely took some time off. It's great. It's good. I enjoy the alt Pro Bowl programming. I enjoy the competitions.
They couldn't handle a snark on the panel. He was throwing some stuff in there that they just didn't quite get.
I love Baker.
Yeah.
And I like the alternate programming. I like the alternate programming because it gives you those moments, right? It gives you that opportunity to see these guys when they don't have their serious face on, right? When they're not in competition mode. Because I know even during the old Pro Bowl, they would send somebody down to the sideline with a mic. They would send somebody down there to interview these guys while they're doing their stuff. But when they actually cared about the game, which I will acknowledge, it has been a while since that has been more likely true than less.
Back in the 80s, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Back when there were still guys that they had to tell, hey, stop hitting so hard.
I think that for the first time in a long time, you're actually getting to see the NFL players as just dudes. They're just there to have a good time. And I enjoy that. I appreciate that. I saw people on Twitter last night that were like, guys, remember we players weren't so soft. They used to care about the game. It's like, dude, you think these guys don't care about football? I understand that some of you are like, dance monkey, entertain me, NFL player. And I get it. I mean, I want to tune in on Sundays and see the boys, what's the word? Try. But I like when you break it down a little bit. I like when they get to just be dudes. NHL All-Star Game is coming up this weekend. Same thing. You got skills competitions tonight and tomorrow. They got celebrities acting as team captains. I think Will Arnett's one. The Biebs is one. Michael Bublé is one. They got celebrities involved. Again, I like that you get Not even just the fact that you get to see these dudes without the helmets off as dudes, but also I think when you put them on a field, when it comes to football, I think when you put them on a field with 21 other dudes, right? With 21 other guys, I think it gets to a point where we as fans, we kind of lose perspective on how impressive these people are as athletes. I think we kind of lose sight of just what it is that we're watching, right? I think we kind of lose sight of how impressive Derrick Henry is when he's running against all-pro defenses. And so I think we lose sight of how impressive it is the way that Baker Mayfield spins the rock until you throw him out there doing stuff that you and I could go out in the backyard and try and fail at miserably. I think it is kind of cool that we get this opportunity to remind ourselves just how freakishly athletic top-level athletes are, top-flight athletes are. Watch the Pro Bowl skills competition, not even the All-Star, the Pro Bowl game itself. Watch the skills competition. Watch Puka Nacua catching a football while wakeboarding. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, most of y'all can't do one of those things at a time. My dude's out here making circus catches on a wakeboard. Watch Trevor Lawrence hit a swinging boxing heavy bag from 25 yards away with a football. Most of y'all can't throw a football 25 yards. TL's out here popping body bags that are swinging on a chain. I like that it kind of gives us that perspective. So we'll talk about the Pro Bowl, the NHL All-Star Game. The NBA All-Star Game is next week. And I'm kind of jacked about it, honestly. Going back to the East v West conference format.
Same weekend as the Super Bowl?
February 18th is the week after.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Sorry,
right.
I should have clarified that.
Okay. All right.
Next weekend to me is next weekend. It's this weekend, next weekend. Next weekend is Super Bowl weekend. Weekend after that is NBA All-Star.
We had this discussion earlier in the week off the air. So, yeah, just
we did. How
say
do you
the
guys,
weekend
how
of
do you
the
guys
18th.
differentiate? How y'all differentiate? How do you differentiate?
I use a wrench.
I got a differentiator back at the house. How do you differentiate when you are trying to tell someone that this Saturday versus next Saturday, the Saturday you need them to know about? Like, is this Saturday, if I say next Saturday, are you concerned that that is this upcoming Saturday, or does it mean the next Saturday? Lonzo and I kicked this around earlier this week. My thought has been that this Saturday is this Saturday, and next Saturday is the Saturday that comes up after this Saturday. Tomorrow is this Saturday. If you're talking to me about the 11th, that's next Saturday.
Yeah, but you know what tomorrow is also? It's the next Saturday.
It is the next Saturday, but it's not next Saturday because it's this Saturday. Next has to come after.
I don't know. I mean, that's how next, that's how that works. It's, next is the next thing, and that will be tomorrow.
We may get Chris in here later. We may have to have this conversation. This might be a post-show stream exclusive.
Just make sure he's on camera so people can see the look.
All right. We're going to talk NFL head coaches because the job apps are done. Stop submitting your applications. All the teams are booked up. Harbaugh is in LA. Raheem's in the ATL. Davo is in the CHA. We'll talk about his and Dan Morgan's introductory press conference later in the show. because I did sit down and watch that yesterday. And last night, the Washington Commanders, hired former Atlanta Falcons head coach Dan Quinn. I was on BetMGM tonight last night with Nick and Ryan and Trista. And they asked me about that. They're like, Rob, explain to us. This is my favorite way to talk on that show. They're like, explain to us why the Commanders hired Dan Quinn. And my response was, no.
It's a good response.
Yeah.
Could have said desperation, but no works too.
I don't get it. Remember what I said. And in fact, I warned the big boss downstairs because Dan Quinn was in the initial mix of candidates to take over in Carolina. And I said, if you hire this guy, I will be openly hostile to this football franchise. Openly hostile. I will actively root against them all year long because it will tell me that you're an unserious football team. An unserious football team. And I'm very glad that they did not. Again, question marks about Dave Canellis, and I think it's very fair to have them. The guy's been an OC for a single season, shows up kind of out of nowhere, and almost kind of feels like he got that gig because he's buddy-buddy with Dan Morgan. But after watching the presser yesterday, I've got some reasons for optimism, yeah? I've got some reasons for optimism. I'll tell you about them in a minute.
A lot of fear in that room. I just want to say that. A lot of fear in that room.
A lot of fear?
Yeah.
Because Dan Morgan has psycho eyes?
From the press corps, like, oh no. That stupid question I was going to ask, I'm not asking that anymore.
Dan Morgan's got crazy eyes. And I love it, by the way. I love it. By the way, there was one moment. There was one moment from this presser that I was interested. Not even the presser. It was a quote from Dave Tepper, who after the presser was over, Dave Tepper refused to take questions from the media. Now, you would like your owner to kind of address the populace, yeah? You would like your owner to go, all right, well, this is why I hired this guy, and I was pumped to hear him say this, and I'd like to hear more about that, and I made that call because of this guy, and he wanted that, and this is why he's the ideal candidate. You most certainly want all of those things. They went to Tep after the presser. I want to say it was Joe Person. I could be wrong. Somebody went to Dave Tepper after the presser to ask him questions, and he said, I'm not answering questions today. And they went, why? Why aren't you answering questions? You're the owner of the team. And Tep said, Lonzo, because I'm in the background now. And then he just left. Now, anybody who gets to the level of billionaire has to be a pretty smart dude.
I'm a little shocked now. I am, because this is what people ask for. Now we'll see if it actually happens.
Right. And that's where I was going. You got to be a pretty smart cat to get to billionaire status. You've also got to be a sociopath. But you got to be a pretty smart sociopath. Dave Tepper knows the narrative. Dave Tepper knows what people are saying. Dave Tepper knows what it is out here on these streets. So it would make sense that, as I think most of us have likely done at different parts of our life, when you know what the narrative is, when you know what the story is, when you know what the criticisms about you is, that you react maybe in response to that as opposed to the right way. If you come home and your significant other is upset with you because she asked you to unload the dishwasher and you didn't do it, you forgot. You got hooked up watching Baker Mayfield in the Pro Bowl skills contest and you forgot to unload the dishwasher. And you got up this morning and as you're getting ready for work, she goes, you know, I asked you to do one thing. I asked you to do one thing, Rob. I asked you to do one thing, and you couldn't do that thing. This is why we fight, Rob. This is a fake conversation, by the way. I unload the dishwasher. I asked you to do one thing, and this is why we fight, because I asked you to do this one single thing, and you just let me down, and I'm going to work, and I don't want to talk to you. I'll see you when I get home. And then you get home from work before her, and what do? You walk in the door, and you clean the ever-loving bleep out of that house, right? You're dusting, you're mopping, you're sweeping. You're doing other cleaning things. I'm not a big clean. I don't clean. I dust. That's about the extent of it, right? But you do all those things. That's not what you would normally do. You would not come home from work and go, you know what I can't wait to do, you guys? Swiffer. Can't wait to Swiffer. I'm a big Swiffer guy. Wet Jet, game changer. We got all hardwood floors. Wet Jet's a game changer. But I never go, I can't wait to go home and Wet Jet a little bit. But if I forgot to unload the dishwasher and I know the better half went to work mad at me because I didn't do the one thing she asked, I'm going to do the 90 things she didn't. I feel like I can't know. And this was the takeaway from the whole presser. We'll talk about this coming up in the next segment. I very much feel like the whole presser kind of had one thing, Lonzo, which is this all sounds great, but we'll see. This all sounds tip-top, super duper. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And that's it. That was the theme of the presser. Rashad did his live stream. I popped in the chat. I was enjoying watching Rashad react. I was enjoying listening to Dan Morgan and his answers. But at the end of the day, it's all just talk. Canella said some great things about BY, some stuff that I'm like, all right, this guy gets it. This guy sees what I saw, so therefore I know that he knows ball, and I like that. But until I see what the next camp looks like, till I see what the draft shapes up like, till I see what rookie camp looks like, till I see how that all plays out, it all sounds great. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, we got to take a break. We have got many, many things that we need to discuss today. And we're going to dive right in. There is a meeting taking place in South Florida today. That meeting is about NIL rules and restrictions. And it does not involve the NCAA or college football coaches or college football players or anybody. Who's having this meeting? The collectives themselves. And they've got some interesting things to say that I would like to talk about later in the show. We're going to get some golf in here. Big weekend. They're playing out at Pebble Beach. The clash at the Coliseum coming up in the world of NASCAR. I want to get to that. A lot of stuff to talk about. Show is going to be busy today. I am Rob Brown. He's the great one, Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate.
Smith.
All right, guys, got a quick live read, and we're coming right back. Y'all stay right there.
Truck.
Meat Truck would be a good name for a band.
I bet it already exists.
Are we both Googling Meat Truck right now?
Of course.
Let's see. Truck music. Body Meat is a band.
Yes, it's the first thing that popped up for me also. There's a song called Meat Truck.
Yep. Meat Truck.
You go out today and you start a band that's called Meat Truck, you owe us money.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Good morning, America. It is wonderful to be with you. Yesterday, at the immediate conclusion of the show, and that was not coincidental, obviously Dave Tepper, Dave Canellis, Dan Morgan, all big fans of this show, and so they said, well, we got to do our introductory presser. We're going to do it on Thursday. Let's do it at 10 o'clock. That way, once the Rob Brown Show is over, the millions and millions of the Rob's fans can all tune into our presser. And so when it was over, I walked over to the Fortress of Nerditude. I clicked on the Panther website, and I turned on the Dave Canellis and Dan Morgan introductory press conference. And I want to talk about some of the things that were said and the conversations that were had and the questions that got asked, and we will. But I got to start with this. And I know that this really should not be a big deal, but I would be lying to you to tell me that it didn't strike me as bothersome. I went to the Cats website to pull up this press conference. Was going to watch a little bit of it. Going to go check out Rashad's stream for a little while. And I went to the Carolina website. And it said, click here to watch the press conference. And I said, I will. Thank you very much. And then I did. And when I did, and this may just be something that bothers me because I'm a audio dude. The audio on this introductory press conference was hot garbage. You know, you're getting your new GM, your new head coach, the most important two hires that you have made in, well, Dave Tepper's entire time as the owner. And I turn it on, and there's Dan Morgan, and Dan Morgan's talking about whatever he's talking about at that moment. And then he's getting set to introduce Dave Canellis. And I'm not kidding you, Lonzo. It sounded like, and now we're introduce Dave Canellis as the head coach of the Carolina Panthers. And I'm going, all right, hang on. You're at a point right now where your entire fan base has big-time question marks. Your entire fan base has concerns. Your entire fan base is questioning everything about this franchise and the direction that it's pointed in. And you couldn't take 15 minutes before the press conference to ensure that you had the right audio plugged in. You couldn't take 15 minutes to take a gander to make sure your XLR cords were right, that you had the right 1/8 to 1/4 inch adapters, that your board wasn't tuned up to 11. That's a Spinal Tap reference. You're welcome. You were telling me to introduce your new GM, to introduce your new head coach. You couldn't take 30 minutes. What are we doing? That is maybe the biggest and most ultimate.
What are we doing?
That I have seen this team make in a year and a half. And it probably shouldn't be something that jumps off the page at me. It probably shouldn't be my biggest takeaway. And I'm not even saying it is my biggest takeaway, but it was the one that made the biggest impact. If you are going to be successful, and I think you'll hear this from anybody who has ever been successful or been around people who are successful. I'm not one of them. Lonzo is. I just ride his coattails to glory.
Really large coattails.
Very large coattails. It's because of the coat. If you have ever been successful or are around people who are successful, most of them, if you ask, what would you say are the biggest keys to success, are going to tell you attention to detail. It's a big deal. Nick Saban has said for many, many years.
What'd you do when you were a kid? Play Nintendo?
No, Nick, that's not what I'm talking about. Nick Saban has said for many, many years, if you want to be successful, you got to get the little things right. If you get all the little things right, the big things tend to get themselves right. I know that it's not the end of the world. I know it's not the biggest thing. But man, you've got to understand in this moment, the entire NFL is tuned into you. This is your moment on the front of the stage, right? This is your moment on the front of the stage. This is your time to shine. This is the moment where everybody in the NFL is tuned in to see if maybe, hypothetically, theoretically, the Carolina Panthers did a good thing. Maybe if hypothetically, theoretically, the Carolina Panthers got one right. The whole NFL's looking at you. And you can't get the audio right on your own website. Let me put it this way. I flipped over to Rashad's stream after a little while because I'm like, well, if I'm going to have to listen to this garbage, then let me at least listen to Rashad listen to this garbage. So I flip over to Rashad's stream, and he is watching, and he is pulling sound from a local news channel, right? One of the local TV stations in the CHA in Buzz City. And as I'm watching this, I notice the news channel sound is perfect. The news channel sounds great. I can hear every word. These guys are killing it. They're spectacular. And as I'm listening to it, I'm going, so I got to, let me try to get this right. I go to local TV station X. Their sound, magnifique, perfecto. I can hear Dan Morgan breathing between words. And then I go to the actual website of the actual team. I go to the Carolina Panthers website.
And you guys sound like trash.
I'm killing Lonzo right now. Killing Lonzo right now.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Every time I touch the mic. I won't do it again. I'll probably do it one more
Yeah,
time.
you'll do it again. Yeah.
I'll over under 1.5. These are the things that drive me up the wall. It is the little things. It is the little things that I should not have a question that when I tune into your website, I'm going to be able to understand what the head coach says in his first press conference.
See, I guess I'm just
You think I'm making too big of a deal?
I've been on that end where something's messed up and you can't figure out how to fix it. And then you get people online saying, hey, this is not working. Our last remote, you and I had some problems. And I mean, I worked my way around it, but still, I did anyone tell them, hey, something's messed up? Or I mean, did they attempt to, did it get fixed eventually?
No.
Okay.
The whole press conference, I was going to do it again, but I'll save it. I got one more. I got to save it for a good one. All right. The whole presser on their website. That's how it was.
I guess I'm getting soft. I'm getting soft in my old age because my first thought is, man, somebody's in trouble.
Yeah.
And I hate that for that person.
It's again.
And I actually know someone who works there, and I hope it's not him.
When you and I go on remote, when you and I are broadcasting remotely, which I will acknowledge doesn't happen often because it's 6:00 in the damn morning.
Well, we were in a different time slot before, but
true.
even then it was hard because we were in that in-between window.
When the great one and I are on remote somewhere, one of two things happen. Either A, they send somebody out ahead of us to set everything up so that we can just roll into the building and be the absolute mega stars that we are. Or when I go on remote or host the show on Saturdays or Friday nights or whatever, when I'm doing that, I am required to be there X amount of minutes early so that I can set up and test. And if something's broken, we can fix it and dial in. And if we can't dial in, that somebody can be sent who is smarter than me to fix the problem. This was not a surprise pop-up presser. Get it right. I understand. You don't have to set up. We do this every morning when we set up our live stream. You set it up, you turn it on, and then you go, is this thing on? Is it working? We're good? All right. And then if you get on the air and it's not working, you fix it. The attention to detail, getting those things right is a massive part of the, I don't know why I sounded like I was from Wisconsin there for a second. It's a massive part of the problem, huh?
I'm worrying you're dooming us to technical problems before the show is out. And if that happens, I'm going to blame it on you.
I very much trust that if we get halfway through this show and all of a sudden I start sounding like a robot, or since I'm apparently from the Midwest, a robot moving forward, that I got a guy over here who's going to fix the problem. And if he can't fix the problem, there's two more guys over there that we're going to get in here to fix the problem immediately. That press conference yesterday was over an hour in length. Never got fixed. Never got fixed. Not once did somebody from the Panthers go, let me check in on the stream. Right? Let me go look at the website. Let me check in on the stream. Oh, that sounds like we should probably fix that. Nope, never once happened. All the way to the end of the press conference. The farewell was muddled. So I'm tuned in. I'm trying to get excited. I'm trying to get happy. I'm trying to believe. I want to believe that this team is going to turn a corner with a new head coach and a new general manager, both of whom, by the way, I was very happy with. I should probably talk about the press conference itself. I will, coming up here in just mere moments from right now. I actually was impressed with the press conference. They haven't done anything on the football field yet. But with the press conference, I was impressed with the fellas that got mics yesterday. I was unimpressed with the team. These are the things that make us apprehensive. These are the things that make us unhappy. I had it scheduled in my day. Get off the air at 10, go to the Fortress of Nerditude, click on the computer, go to the website, watch the press conference, and I am treated to that. You know what it sounded like? It sounded like somebody had Canellis and Morgan's microphones hooked up to you remember those old gray stand-up curvy computer speakers that we all used to have? Everybody had the exact same computer speakers. It sounded like they were broadcasting through those. And then they had a microphone in front of those speakers that ran to another set of those speakers. And then they had a microphone in front of those speakers that ran to another set of those speakers. And then they had a microphone that ran from those speakers to your computer. It was atrocious. You knew this press conference was coming. You knew that you were going to be, for at least an hour and a half, you were going to be the focus of the NFL world. And you didn't take 30 minutes to test your audio.
At that moment, David Tepper remembered that he could purchase the rights to Radio Shack and bring it back.
Yeah. Dude, I promise you, you're the Panthers. I promise you, somewhere in that office, yesterday afternoon, yesterday morning, there was a 25-year-old kid who grew up a podcaster. He wants to be a world famous influencer. Who, if they'd have gone, hey, Braden, our sound is bad. Can you fix it? And Braden would have had the fix, and he would have made the fix, and you would have sounded great. Nope, couldn't even get that right. I really am trying to believe that things are going to be different. I really am trying to believe that this is a big step in the right direction. I really am trying to believe, and honestly, am kind of I'm hoping so. After Tep got asked the question, and he said, no, I'm in the background now. I was like, what? He learned? He figured it out? But I can't trust you to get the sound on your website right. It makes it tough. All right, we got to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, I guess we should probably actually talk about the press conference. The thing that y'all care about. I talked about what I cared about. Let's talk about what you care about. What got said? How did it get said? What did they say? And what do they actually mean? We'll talk about that when we come back here in just a minute. That's the Great Malonzo. I'm Rob Brown. You're listening to
The Fan Upstate.
I had one.
Oklahoma City, meanwhile, second in the Western Conference. They're just a game out of first behind Minnesota. Major League Baseball.
Oh, hello, Miss Lisa. Good morning. I don't know if she's still listening.
Yeah, that was 40 minutes ago.
That was, yeah.
UNC Wilmington beat Charleston 80-74. Both teams now 6-3 in the Colonial. NCAA beat Hampton 59-58.
There is an attorney, a judge on Twitter named Judge Melissa Bellin. And she said, I just committed the worst typo of my career. I sent an email that meant to say, I'll see you all in person tomorrow. But I missed a button and it auto-corrected to, I'll see you all in prison tomorrow. Phenomenal.
Got 2 minutes.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800.
It's time we roll these ships into the shore. Throw away the oars forever.
So you're just trying to get on my nerves the entire day.
I've forgotten what I started fighting for.
I will retaliate if you continue to throw bombs my
You
way.
open every show with retaliation.
That's entertaining.
To you.
Okay, so no promos, no Cartwall.
What do you mean?
All the things you've criticized so far today that now overthink and think, okay, I don't know what to do because he doesn't like this, he doesn't like this.
No,
What
I
do
love the
what do
Cartwall.
do? Yeah,
I hate one sound on it. No, that's not true. I hate two sounds on it.
If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
Nachos! Yeah, I'll take some. And some Frank's Red Hot. Nah. You're just gonna eat these boring nachos with no flavor. Frank it up! Frank it up! This guy finally gets it.
It's the perfect blend of flavor and heat. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything. Hey everybody, it's Homer Esiason. Now eBay Motors is here for the ride with the parts you.
All right, I'm not going to say the name. Well, there's a host. Cam said yesterday he still believes Brock Purdy's a game manager. And a host that I actually like and follow said, 8 o'clock, Cam slams Purdy. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. What are we talking about? Welcome back. The Rob Brown Show carries on. We're discussing the Carolina introductory press conference of new head coach Dave Canellis and new general manager Dan Morgan that took place yesterday late morning. I sat in the Fortress of Nerditude and watched it. A couple of takeaways from both dudes. Dan Morgan's big talking point, and I'm really glad to hear it because I do think it is the number one thing, was that we got to go get dogs. We got to go get guys. We got to go get guys who want to play, who want to win. And my initial thought was, man, if I'm in that locker room, I'm probably like, yo, Dan, dog, I'm like, are you accusing us of having no fight?
See, I found that disappointing because I've heard that said before. It's like be a little more original.
Yeah, listen, there was a lot of coach speak in this presser, right? A lot of cliches in this presser. And y'all know I hate a sports cliche. It's got to take it one game at a time. Like, we know. Give me something. How do you get ready for this weekend, Coach? Well, we're just going to go out there and practice hard. If you practice hard, you play hard. Yeah, we know. We know. Well, that's not what we're asking, and you know that's not what we're asking. Give me an actual answer. Here's what I will say about that, though. So Dan Morgan had linebacker eyes when he was answering those questions. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just he's looking at the camera like, yeah, you know, we need some playmakers. We're going to have to go find some guys. When Dan Morgan was saying it, despite the fact that he was leaning into one of the most cliches available. When he was saying it, I kind of believed it, right? I kind of believed that Dan Morgan was sending a message to the locker room. And I do think sometimes cliches can accomplish this. But it felt to me as if, great one, he was sending a message to the locker room of, if you're not going to be a dog, if you're not going to be a guy, get the hell out. We're good with that.
There's only a few people in that locker room who could fit that moniker. So If you don't know you're one, then get ready to be shipped out.
You should know your role.
Like, that's what it felt like. It felt to me like at least Dan Morgan's portion of the press conference, it wasn't for us. It wasn't for you. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for the Panther fans at large. A large part of that presser. And I go out of my way not to oversell what a coach is saying or to oversell what I interpret them as saying. I think we're all guilty of that. I think we're all guilty of hearing somebody say X and we want to hit them with, so what you're actually saying is, and it's like, no. I have this fight with the fiance all the time. She's like, oh, so what you mean it? No. What I mean is what I said. And what I said is what I mean. If I wanted to say that thing that you were accusing me of saying, of what you were accusing me of saying, then I would have said that. That's not what I said. What I said was this, and what I meant was this. I may be overhyping it. I may be reading too much into it. But when Dan Morgan got on the mic, was like, hey, we got to get guys who want to be dogs, who want to win. It was the first time in a hot minute, I think, that I went, that's a message to the locker room. That's a message to the dudes who are on contract. If you are not going to, this offseason, get on the grind under Dan Morgan, you will get out. You will be gone. Trades, cuts, whatever. He will undergo some salary cap stress. That's why they brought in Brant Tillis, in order to make sure that everybody who's on this roster damn sure wants to be on that roster. That was the biggest takeaway from me for Dan Morgan. And the whole time he was talking, he had them linebackers. He had them Bobby Boucher eyes, right? He had those linebackers, them crazy, crazy eyes. You've seen crazy eyes. He had them crazy eyes. Even Rashad at one point was like, dog, he's kind of scaring me a little bit right now. It's like, yeah, I get it. It was intense. And Zoe pointed out, I got no doubt there were a couple of junior reporters in that room, intrepid young gumshoes, who came in and they had their cutesy little questions written down, right? Hey, Dan, how do you feel about Cam? How do you feel about Cam's hats, Dan? Do you like Cam's hats? Do you think we could ever see you signing an endorsement with Cam Newton's hats? And then Dan started talking, and I suspect there were a lot of puckered rear ends amongst the young, intrepid reporters in the room because old Dano was not there to play. And then there's Dave Canellis. Dave Canellis got up there. Dave Canellis said, hey, I'm excited about Bryce Young. He talked about scouting Bryce Young, getting ready for BY as a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was excited about what he's seen out of Bryce Young and the promise of Bryce Young. Now, he's Bryce's head coach. Of course, that's what he's going to say. I love the idea of a brand new head coach getting the job and at the introductory presser being like, yeah, I'm worried our quarterback's not that good. He's not that good. We got to fix it. If you don't know the background of Dave Canellis, it's a very interesting story. Dave Canellis, years ago, struggled with alcoholism and infidelity. He and his wife went through a very difficult time of coming back from that. They wrote a book about how they had to heal their relationship after he committed multiple acts of infidelity, had issues with alcoholism, said he's ashamed, said, I've told my wife things about my life that I will never allow into the public eye. And once you know that story, And again, so maybe I'm, and you tell me, maybe I am operating with blind optimism here. But when I found out the backstory, which I just found out about yesterday, I didn't know all this about Dave Canellis before yesterday. During the show, at the very end of the show, somebody introduced me to this story about Dave Canellis. And he very briefly talked about it because he started talking about his wife during the press conference. My man started openly weeping on the platform when he was talking about his wife and all they've been through and how supportive she's been and yada, yada, yada. To me, that kind of took away the air of disingenuousness. When I read that story and I read the fight that they had to go through to get him off the hooch, away from infidelity, back to being respectable. Again, maybe I'm operating with blind optimism here, Zoe, but I kind of went, I don't think this dude's got it in him to be disingenuous anymore. When you come back from something like that, I've known people who have come back from quite literally the brink of death due to alcoholism. They don't have it in them anymore to be disingenuous. Because you have to X people who are making your life worse.
I get all that, and I'm not going to lessen that. But in the end, can he coach a football team?
Yeah, and I think the last takeaway from this presser, I said it, Rashad said it, the fans I talked to yesterday, the Panther fans in my life yesterday that I talked to said it. At the end of the day, great press conference. You sounded good. You looked good. It was emotional at times. It was exciting at times. At the end of the day, we'll see what happens when it's time to coach football. We'll see what happens when the draft rolls around and Dan Morgan's working the phones. And it's time for the Cats to go on the clock. We'll see what happens when the new Carolina Panthers are in town and it's time for spring camp. We'll see what happens when Lonzo and I head over to Spartan. Oh, wait, never mind. When Lonzo and I head up to Charlotte to go watch camp, we'll see if my man can coach. Because that's the next thing. Everything looked good, every sound. But as Rashad pointed out, and I agreed, everything looked and sounded good when Matt Rule took over too. He's looked and sounded like a guy who had a plan that could execute that plan, that was going to make it right. And then, nope.
And then you watch Jim Harbaugh's press conference, as kooky as he is, and you know he's going to win.
He's such a dork.
But he's going to win.
Yeah. He's such a dork, though. He's a winning dork. He's a guy who is a huge
dork,
but knows how to win, even though he's a
dork.
You know who's not a dork? That's not the segue I could have gone with there. Sports Flash.
You're wrong about that. I absolutely am. The NBA's annual All-Star Game will take place February 18th in Indianapolis. And yesterday, the rosters for the East and the West were dropped as the game returns to its traditional conference versus conference format. LeBron James will lead the West as he plays in his record 20th All-Star Game, while Giannis will captain the East. Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are starters alongside James. Giannis will run with Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and Damian Lillard, along with Joel Embiid's injury replacement. The final NFL head coaching job has been filled as the Washington Commanders hired former Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Tune in Sunday at 1:30 as the Furman men's basketball team takes on UNC Greensboro, right here on your home for Paladins football and basketball. The Fan, Upstate.
From the News Talk 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lloyd Houston on the fan. Upstate.
At Granger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial grade supplies for every industry with same day pickup and next day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're hired, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use.
See your boy Austin Reeves ball out last night?
I did. I saw the highlights this morning. Had to since other people didn't play.
Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Sick and tired of achy joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's Charlie James. The state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only options. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. This is a revolutionary approach that can get you long-term relief with no downtime. Make 2024 the year you reclaim your mobility, reclaim your independence, walk and run, play and live without the danger and trauma of surgery and without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772, Greenville and Asheville.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Smith and James in the first break.
10-4.
And for the ones who mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial grade supplies for every industry with same day pickup and next day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Do.
Upstate. WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Greenville.
W249DL Greenville.
W246CB Spartanburg.
Texter said Lonzo is king of the dorks. All hail the king.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Texter says Lonzo is king of the dorks. All hail the king.
Was already king of the peons. I don't mind adding other kingdoms. It's what conquerors do.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate, the second hour, the money hour of the show is underway now. I am Rob Brown. He is the king of the dorks, Alonzo. Spectacular to have you along for the ride today. Should you wish to be a part of the radio broadcast, today is a wonderful way to do it. Today is a wonderful time to do it. Here are some wonderful ways to do it. I am not quick on the draw today.
Just want to point out, we've had this discussion before. I think dork is very derogatory.
Dork.
It's very derogatory. Nerd and geek, not as negative. Dork is very negative.
Dork.
I actually agree with that. I agree with that. Nobody has ever called anybody else a
dork
as a compliment. If you call somebody a
dork,
you're doing it to be mean. Nerd, fine. Geek, tiptoeing the line. That can go either way, but
dork
is absolutely derogatory. Hey, it's almost 8 o'clock. I mean, it's not. It's an hour away from 8 o'clock, but in an hour, it's going to be 8 o'clock, which means it's almost 8 o'clock, which means it's almost time for you to check into work. And then you're going to sit down at the desk. You're going to fire up the computer. You're going to respond to that one email from the boss you've been putting off for 2 or 3 days because, hey, it's Friday. You're going to tick them off. You give them the weekend to kind of cool off. Maybe Monday will be a good day. And then once you get that email fired off, it's very understandable. In fact, it's totally justifiable that you would take a little bit of a break and you would stand up and you would walk down the hallway and you would head on down to that little back corner where the water cooler is, and you're going to meet your coworkers, maybe even your friends at work. Some of you, we'll see. And you're going to want to talk. And of course, it's you're listening to this show, so it's going to be time to talk sports with your coworkers. And if you're going to talk sports with your coworkers, you're going to need this. That is not. There it is. There it is.
And the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers saying, before they take their first
appropriate
break.
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
The water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 sports stories that you must know before you get to the office and start talking sports with your coworkers. These are the things that you are going to be talking about when you get there. Let us begin, ladies and gentlemen, with item number 1. Your NBA All-Star Game roster is officially set, and it's kind of a young one. Over in the East, we've got multiple players who have caught their very first All-Star Game selection. Jalen Brunson of the New York Knicks, who has become a bona fide, certified superstar, has got his first one. Paolo Banchero, former Duke player. We got to see him play right here in the GVL a couple of years back during the March run in the opening 2 rounds for the Orlando Magic. He is en route to the All-Star Game for the first time. Here's who he's got as starters and reserved over in the East. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a starter. He is also team captain for the East. He'll be joined across the starting line by the Celtics' Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton of the Pacers, and Dame Lillard of the Bucks. You'll notice I named only 4. That is because the 5th starter was Joel Embiid of the 76ers. Of course it was. My man's en route to an NBA MVP, but it looks like he won't be winning the MVP. Why? Because remember yesterday when Joel Embiid was on this show because a dude fell on his leg and he looked hurt? Well, it turns out it's because he was torn meniscus in his knee. Joel Embiid is going to be missing some time. Joel Embiid can miss only 5 more games before he becomes ineligible to win the Most Valuable Player award. He will be replaced in the starting 5. Amongst those who could replace him, we mentioned Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell of the Cavaliers, Bam Adebayo from Miami, Jaylen Brown gets the nod from Beantown, Julius Randle, who will likely also have to miss the game. Julius Randle, dealing with a dislocated shoulder, is due to be reassessed, I guess is the word, coming up here in 2 to 3 weeks. And Paolo Banchero of the Orlando Magi. Over in the West, LeBron James is your number 1 vote getter and the captain of the West. His 20th All-Star game. You will know he's been in the league 21 years. He has missed it just one time. Kevin Durant of the Suns, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are the other starters out of the West. In reserve, Steph Curry headed to his 10th All-Star game. The Ant-Man Anthony Edwards from Minnesota, Kawhi Leonard of the Clippers, Karl Anthony Towns, the big cat from the Timberwolves, is on the way. AD gets the nod out of the Lake Show. Devin Booker from Phoenix and Paul George of the LA Clippers are all All-Stars. Are you in, Zoe, for this three-point shooting competition between Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu? I'm intrigued by this.
He can't win.
He can't win?
Either way, if he wins, he doesn't win. If he loses, it's a no-win situation for him.
So to you, it's the old classic, if you win, you beat a girl. If you lost to a girl situation.
I didn't say it was my opinion. I'm just saying I believe will be the opinion of a lot of people out there. Yes,
I would say that.
By the way, I'm not sure he can beat her. So
she can ball. She can shoot.
She absolutely can.
She can shoot.
And so if he dogs it a little bit, then people are going to say that he's letting the girl win. So he's got to come out there and do his best and not make it look like he's not trying. Because if he lags any at all, see, there's the point where he decided to let the girl win. See, this is all about, uplifting the women and women's lib and all that kind of stuff. And this was scripted. It's not a good situation to be in.
I don't know. I think probably in years gone by, I would 1000% agree with that.
Politics is such a big selling point, I guess, in the world right now. When it comes down to it, I'm not sure that if she's hot like she has been before, that he can beat her right now, because he's not having the greatest of seasons, and she's pretty good.
She's a G. She's a sniper, man. She's a sniper. And
by the way, the 3-point contest is one of the main reasons that I watch, and now I'm worried about it.
Steph Curry this year during the regular season, shooting 40.9% from three. His career average is 42.6%. So it is a down year, but not dramatically down. He's missing about 2 more shots per 100 threes than he has in years gone by.
When's the last time you heard Curry buries a 3 for the victory?
When's the last time you heard the Warriors in the conversation?
Right, because they're like below 500 right now, right?
They're hovering around it. They've been hovering around it. This team's bad, man. Oh, well, it's not bad. It's just not what it usually is. The Warriors right now are 20-24. They're actually 4 games below 500 right now. They are also on a 3-game losing streak, 4-6 in their last 10. Speaking of, my dog Super Mario is going to be joining us later in the show. We'll talk with him about this because I'm curious. I think in years gone by, that take would have been absolutely correct. I think in years gone by, I would agree it's a no-win situation for Steph. But I think, and this is not going to be true of all of you, many of you are going to push back on this, but I think that women's basketball has turned a corner the last couple of years with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu. I think that women's basketball has turned a corner where, it's being looked at less like a second-rate game and more of a top-rate game, just a different form of it, right? Nobody's arguing that WNBA players are on the same caliber as NBA players. They're arguing it's a different game, but still a very good game. That's why Caitlin Clark is the face of college basketball right now. In fact, I would even say the 2 faces of college basketball are both women, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. They are the faces. Who is right now, today, who would you say is the most notorious college basketball coach? Mike's gone. Roy's gone. Who would you say is the most notorious college basketball coach right now? I would argue it's Dawn Staley or it's Kim Mulkey of the women's game, right? Tom Izzo joined the 700-win club last night. Quick question. How many of y'all that watched the highlight shows last night or this morning, how many of y'all have seen Tom Izzo's face on TV? I watch all of it. I have not seen it at all. The faces of college basketball right now are in the women's game. So I think this has got the potential to be a real interesting conversation. All right, let's go to item numero dos. This is real interesting. And this may not be something that you guys directly care about, but I do think it is something you will indirectly care about as we get prepared for Super Bowl Sunday next weekend. It's the San Francisco 49ers. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Well, we all know that sports gambling has skyrocketed to the moon over the past year and a half, 2 years. And one of the, to me, benefits about this, the old man told me a long time ago, never assume you know somebody unless you know what they're investing in. And I think that's a very, very fair thing. Never assume you know somebody until they are willing to put their money where their mouth is. If somebody says, I really think that I'm capable of doing this, will they take a bet on that? Will they invest in themselves on that? Right? I had this conversation with the old man years ago because I said I wanted to do X, Y, and Z in radio, and I wanted to accomplish this, that, and the other. And he said, are you willing to put your own money into you? Are you willing to invest your own money in yourself? Because if you're not, then why would you expect anyone else to? And I thought, that's really fair. Well, America, though, believes in the Kansas City Chiefs.
America.
According to BetMGM, the majority of money being betted and the majority of the tickets coming in are on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, it is to cover, but you are 2-point dogs. That's within striking distance.
Where's Rob Brown's money going?
Rob Brown hammered the Chiefs plus 2.5 when it initially dropped. And I'm going to tell you now, and this, I'm curious as to your reaction, great one. I hate it. Now, maybe this is disrespect to the Chiefs, and that's okay because if they win, my bet wins. So I'm playing both sides on this. I'm a double agent.
Unless I change my mind, I think the Chiefs win by 1. So
that's fine, long as they don't lose by more than 2. Daddy's bet hits, and that's all he wants to happen. So I'm going to, and I'll go ahead and tell you, Lonzo, next week is Chiefs disrespect week. I'm disrespecting the Chiefs all week because I bet on them.
You just want that money.
Yeah,
okay.
I want that cash. BetMGM, who, of course, is a fantastic partner of the BetQL Network and the presenting title sponsor of Bet for the Cycle, which airs every Saturday from noon to 4, the nation's #1 gambling sports show, if you ask my mom.
That's tomorrow, by the way.
That is tomorrow, by the way, from noon to 4 on the BetQL Network and Fine Odyssey stations nationwide. BetMGM is reporting, great one, that in every state that has had legalized gambling, and in every state that BetMGM operates, in every state, the public money is not just in on the Chiefs, but heavy in on the Chiefs. Like the majority of it, and it's not particularly close. Now,
then how are the Chiefs still the underdog?
Because the line just hasn't responded. It is moving. It was at 2.5. Now it's at 2. I've seen it on other books. Now, this is just BetMGM. On other books, the Chiefs are down to plus 1.5. They have gained a full point against the spread at this point. There is one other reason, and that other reason is, great one, that the overwhelming majority of bets that come in on the Super Bowl come in inside of 48 hours before kickoff, which, again, makes a lot of sense. If you're going to bet early like I did, I slammed the line last Sunday night. And the reason why is when I saw Chiefs plus 2.5, my assumption was that there would be heavy money coming in on Kansas City, and that line would creep closer to a pick'em game. So I made the bet early, working on the assumption that the closer we got to the Super Bowl, it was going to go from 2.5 to 2, from 2 to 1.5, from 1.5 to 1, maybe all the way to a pick'em game if that much money comes in on Kansas City. And so far it has. Again, opened at 2.5. Now it's at 2 on BetMGM. I have seen it at 1.5 on other books, which means the money's coming in, but the books aren't going to over adjust. They would rather have the majority of the tickets on the Chiefs now and make the guesswork that 72 hours out. So like next Thursday night, Friday morning, they'll have a much better perspective on when the late money comes in. There's two ways to handle a bet. The first is you grab the line the second it's available because you're making a prediction the line's going to slide one way or the other. If you're going to wait till the day before and the Chiefs become, let's say, a half-point dog or an even money pick, I get 2.5 points that you can't have, right? So now the Chiefs have got to win or got to lose by 2 or fewer, whereas for you, they got to outright win. But there's something else that impacts me. If Patrick Mahomes twists his ankle, if Trav says, Tay and I eloped, I'm retired, I'm not playing in the Super Bowl, and he disappears. If something goes catastrophically wrong for Kansas City between here and Sunday of next weekend, and they just can't win, right? Then I'm in a lot of trouble because I am still locked in one way or the other. So I played the early points line assuming it is going to get better versus the majority of people who wait until game time in case something happens. They have every bit of possible information. But the early bettors, and usually that is the sharp money, usually that's people who either do it for a living or are big-time gamblers. The early money is all on Kansas City. Not all, but primarily on Kansas City. That being said, I've made a lot of money by fading the public this year. I've been talking about it for about 3 months now. If the public is coming in 70% on a line, I always bet the opposite direction, and it hits far more than it misses. Got to make you nervous if you're a Chiefs fan. We'll see. All right. Item number 3. This one I got to get to. This is not a life-changing sports story. This is not a sports story that I necessarily think is going to change your life. The transfer portal rankings from ESPN have dropped. And in the number 1 position, the school that has done the absolute best work is the Ole Miss Runnin' Rebels.
All right, I have a quick question about the transfer portal rankings. How do they come up with? Is this about who has the most?
Just like recruiting rankings.
So, but do they take into account what they were recruited as and how well they played the season before they transferred?
My understanding, as far as the way ESPN does it is a combination of quantity and quality. Who did you get? How many did you get? Where do they fit into the team that you have and their performance in years gone by? Alabama's done a real good job. Ole Miss has done a real good job. I mean, Alabama's done a bad job, but it's not Kalen DeBoer's fault. Ole Miss has done a real good job. They've picked up a lot of good names. That's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is a tweet that came out not terribly long ago from one Lane Kiffin. The tweet in question, great one, was taking place while Lane Kiffin was out on the transfer portal recruiting trail. I find this very interesting. I do think it is important to have the discussion about. Lane Kiffin has gotten kind of famous for this troll job that he's been doing, which is he very cryptically starts tweeting pictures from around and then in the campus and then on the campus that he is trying to take a transfer kid away from. He's done it to Alabama. He's done it to, I think, Mississippi State. He's done it to a couple of different schools where he'll post a picture of like the highway sign that says Alabama 1 mile left-hand turn. And then he'll post a picture. He did it to South Carolina. He took Juice, right? Took Juice out of Columbia, and it came hours after he tweeted a picture of a South Carolina Gamecocks on-campus ambassador sports athletic department golf cart. And then hours later, Juice Wells is a rebel. All good stuff, all hilarious. But he posted one picture that I think will make your life better, my life better, our life better. He tweeted a picture, Lonzo, of the inside of a Buc-ee's along with the message, first time ever at Buc-ee's, my life will never be the same, triple exclamation point. Lane is a coach of the people. He's one of us. He gets it. You guys want to know why it is that Lane Kiffin is killing the portal? You want to understand why it is that Lane Kiffin is connecting so well with players? It's because he's one of us. OOU, Lane Kiffin, noted Buc-ee's guy. Welcome to the club, Joey Freshwater.
Hold on. So you've just spent all this time talking about how he does this sarcastically. So
no, I mean this.
No. Every other picture he does sarcastically, but this one he's genuine. Okay.
Here's the thing, you know where
so he's being sarcastic because he understands it's an overrated yard sale with banana pudding. No. So I mean, and everyone else, it's a status symbol. Look, I went to Buc-ee's. So
first off, it is not a status symbol.
It has become a status symbol. If you
not.
go buy one and you don't take a picture of yourself in it, well, what's wrong with you?
You're a contrarian.
No.
Here's the thing. Now, I don't know this. This was the first thought that I had in my brain.
They do have nice bathrooms. That's all I can say.
Bathrooms.
Yeah, I mean, probably the best bathrooms in the business.
And they're huge. You like be 1 billion people in there. You still don't have to wait.
It's like what you would picture in a millionaire's house. I mean, there's that and the banana pudding. That's it.
Buc-ee's is, as the kids say, goated. Now, here's what the immediate thought that popped into my brain was. Do you know where there's a Buc-ee's? When you're on your way down to Mississippi, on your way down to Oxford, you know where there's a Buc-ee's? Just off the campus of Auburn University. Just off the side of the interstate, right outside of Opelika, Alabama. It is the only SEC campus with a Buc-ee's. And Lane suddenly has made his first Buc-ee stop. Who is Lane stealing from the War Eagle Tigers? I love that he has become such a troll that he can tweet a picture of a gas station and immediately I'm like, uh-oh, Auburn. Look out, Hugh Freeze. We got to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, this NIL meeting taking place down in sunny South Florida. What does it mean? What's it about? What are they talking about? I'll give you some thoughts when we come back. Rob Lonzo and you on the Weenus and Pitt Show in the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, another quick live read. We're coming right back. Y'all stay right there. Zach, a live read is when I do an endorsement. So it's basically it's like a commercial, but I do it live. Talking up one of our partners. And the reason we take it off the stream is because it is paid for to be exclusive on the radio.
According to a story, Seth Rollins' Marvel debut has reportedly been edited out of Captain America: Brave New
Really?
World.
Probably because connection to Vince, I wonder.
Maybe it
They
wasn't.
just took him out of the movie.
Well, that's again, it's one source.
The Rob Brown Show carries on. The fan upstate is in your ear holes. It is Rob and Lonzo with breaking news, brought to you by BetQL. Be a better, be smarter, beat the books with BetQL, and listen to the Bet for the Cycle radio program every Saturday from noon to 4.
According to Adam Schefter, Punxsutawney Phil did not see his shadow today, which means he's now predicting an early spring.
All right, I'm gonna be a jerk here.
You're just a loser or a jackass. You can be A or B.
I don't care about Groundhog's Day at all. Not in the least. The only good thing about Groundhog's Day is the movie. That's it. The movie. Bill Murray. That's the only. I don't care. I do not like. I am down for the goofy amount, for like the goofy national holidays. There's a billion every day. In fact, let's look up what's today's national holiday. It's always something dumb.
I'm saying this is not a national holiday.
Oh, I know.
If it was, we'd have Friday off.
It is. What's today? Today,
and
is
I would
the
appreciate the groundhog if I was not here today.
Today is. Oh God, I couldn't have scripted this. Today, Lonzo, is National Ukulele Day. Boo! It's also National Wear Red Day. I did not get the memo. Tomorrow,
I'll do that all next week. So
tomorrow's a day I can get behind. Tomorrow's National Carrot Cake Day. I can get behind that.
Tomorrow,
I do love a carrot cake.
Tomorrow it's carrot cake, not too much, but every once in a while.
I do love a good carrot cake. I really do. Let's see. February 2nd. There's all kinds of holidays here.
Is there a National Sarcasm Day?
Yesterday was National Macadamia Nut Month Day. National Macadamia Day, excuse me. What else do we have? National Shower with a Friend Day. I mean, celebrate people.
Wait a minute. There's a National Sarcasm Society?
I have no doubt.
Yeah, I was looking up day, but there's actually a society. I have to check into that.
Here's a list of today's day. Today is National Ayn Rand Day. It's National Bubblegum Day, National Kiwi Fruit Day.
I would
National Crepe Day. I'm all in.
Yeah, I like crepes. Don't apologize. We missed National Sarcastic Awareness Month. It was in October.
Don't worry. We'll get to it. It is, it's National Catchers Day, celebrating the geared baseball players of America. It is National Frank Day, not the hot dog. People named Frank. Today is their day.
And the boy Frankie.
Yeah. National Ukulele Day. Here's one, Lonzo. You and I will celebrate together after the show. National Tater Tot Day. It is National Sled Dog Day. It is the day of the celebration of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo.
I just got to say, this morning I had a compulsion to eat some extra tater tots, and I did. Maybe subconsciously I knew it was National Tater Tot Day. So
it is National Work Naked Day.
Let's do that.
I'm sorry.
You ready? Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Let's go. You first.
Here's the point. I can get behind some celebrations for dumb reasons. All right. You think Rob Brown won't throw a National Tater Tot Day party? You don't know me at all. I could give less of a boat about Groundhog Day. I don't care. And you're going to hear people on the radio wholesale meltdowns about the groundhog today. Well, I guess today wholesale celebrations about the groundhog.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever celebrated 6 more weeks of winter.
Well, around here it just goes right to summer, so I'm ready for that.
I am down for some goofy holidays. I could not care less about Groundhog's Day. Not in the least. It's whatever, dude. I get it. There's one city in, Pennsylvania, and that's all they got.
It's Punxsutawney.
Punxsutawney.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
Every town's got their thing, and I respect that.
I think there's one like in Alabama, too.
Oh, it's been ripped by cities across America. But the only groundhog that any of you know is Punxsutawney Phil, who, by the way, I'm relatively sure they probably get a new groundhog every year because groundhogs don't live that long.
Because they put them in stew, I think. Would you eat groundhog stew?
I have no idea. I'm from Louisiana. I've probably eaten groundhog. I don't know. What I do know is y'all got to stop with Groundhog's Day. It's dumb. Like, let the people in Punxsutawney have their thing, but stop making it national news. I don't care. You don't care. None of us care. All right? Knock it off with the Groundhog's Day stuff. It's annoying.
Groundhog stew with bacon and natural wild onions.
I mean, I'll eat it. I'll eat it. I promise you I've eaten worse.
Woodchuck stew.
Why not? I'm just saying, stop putting them in the stew, not on the news. That's my new Groundhog Day slogan. In the stew, not the news.
So would you be okay if after the shadow, there's like some Russian woman with one of those things on her head and a big apron and a cleaver?
You know, there's the old rumor that's gone around for years that whenever a bevo dies at Texas, they cut them up into steaks and they sell it to the boosters. I would be down for a bevo steak.
I mean, I'm guessing it would taste like any other steak, but yeah.
Just a steak, but it's got that extra. And you know what I would do? I would hold the horns down. Sorry. I would hold the whole time that I ate it. Disrespect.
How would you cut the steak then? Because you've got one hand out. I mean, can you one hand the knife?
I figured out just to tick off the
or,
Texas people.
I forgot. You're 1%er. You'd have someone cut it for you.
Correct. And feed me while waving a palm frond to keep me cool.
What's a frond? It's like the leaf?
The big palm things. Those are fronds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not from Florida. Thank you.
Feed me grapes while they do it. In Orlando this week, a group of collegiate athletic stakeholders are gathering for meetings. These are not coaches. These are not administrators. These are not presidents.
Wait. Just a second. According to the stream, you've had possum stew before.
Yeah, for sure.
You've actually ate possum before.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's a little gamey, but it's not bad.
Okay.
It's just meat.
That's
man.
one thing I'm not so sure about trying.
It's possum.
All
I've
right.
eaten rattlesnake. I've eaten possum.
Go back to Florida.
I've eaten gator.
I don't mean physically. The story was in Florida.
Metaphorically go, oh, good, the geese are back. I'll tell you what, I'll eat a goose too. I think it is outlandish that the goose are allowed to attack me, but I'm not allowed to attack the goose.
We could go up on the roof and shoot some geese.
I have had possum stew, John, and I'll be real with you. It's not bad. It's just like any other stew with meat in it.
Yeah, but would you know if it was prepared correctly?
I mean, it's meat. It's either cooked right or it's not. It's meat. It's just possum. It's either cooked right or it's not. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're just going to go to a break. I was going to talk NIL Collective, but this conversation was more important. This conversation was a bit. Can I tell you how wildly frustrating it is to look at the new head coaches of NFL teams and they all look like children? And I don't know if that's because I'm getting older and they've just always looked like that.
He doesn't look like a child.
That dude is a child.
No.
Mike McDonald is 36 years old. He's a child.
I'm not even sure his hairline is real. Yes,
it is because he's 36 years old.
They look like a little.
Not only is
little
it
paint
real,
up there.
He's got no gray. He's 36. I'm infuriated. The average ages of head coaches in the NFL this year, 12. Unbelievable. All right, we'll talk about this NIL Collective meeting when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
So it sounds like Rob has been at Granny's kitchen eating some vittles.
No, man, it was from the yes, Steven. I've absolutely had squirrel. Squirrel honestly is good.
I've had squirrel and dumplings before.
Squirrel's good. I'll tell you this. If the apocalypse was to happen, food would not be a problem for me. It is not food that I would struggle with. Because squirrel, geese, duck, I can kill them and I can cook them.
That whole area, look at the congestion there. As you move down towards I-385, north on I-385, there wasn't a right lane. Looks like that's completely gone. I really don't see much of a backup there at all. So, actually, pretty good looking rush hour. Not that bad. 98.9 WRB Traffic Center. I'm going to sit on the fan, I have to say.
Texture said going to Buc-ee's is not a status symbol. It's a redneck rite of passage.
I think that's probably accurate.
From the Ingles Market Studio,
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Smart.
guide to the gridiron, the maestro of the matchups and the keeper of all things cool in the sports world. This is the Rob Brown.
Texture said goose season ended on the 31st, unfortunately. I'll tell you right now, we're about at the point where every day I will park closer and closer to the door of this building because our parking lot becomes filled with those absolute.
It's more about what they leave behind.
Hate them. I don't know. I don't care. You can go poop in the grass. Just get away from my damn
Yeah,
car.
but they don't. They do it like around your cars.
All right, we got to get to this story. That's enough goose hating for the show. It's not. There's not enough goose hate. But we got to get to this. In Orlando this week, according to Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, a group of college athletic stakeholders are gathering for meetings. Many of these people are influential to building rosters, compensating athletes, and steering the future of major college football and basketball programs. They are not coaches, nor are they athletic directors or commissioners. They are leaders of more than 24 name, image, and likeness collectives. Dellinger says, quote, in a dose of convenient timing, the Collective Association, a trade association of booster-backed NIL collectives, is scheduled to convene its first ever summit this week in Florida. The two-day event began yesterday, 2 days after one of the association's leading members, the Tennessee-affiliated Spire Sports Group, became the center of a publicized NCAA investigation over NIL-related allegations. We told you a little bit about that here on the Rob Brown radio program. The investigation into Tennessee is the latest in what appears to be a sudden wave of NCAA enforcement action over NIL-related matters. The association has levied penalties against FSU and is now investigating Florida as well. Dellinger writes, nearly 20 months into the NIL era, the governing body of college athletics is attempting to rectify years' worth of widespread and quite obvious rule breaking across the industry during a somewhat ambiguous time in college athletics. At the center of many of the cases are school-affiliated booster-led collectives, the third-party entities that sprung up as a way to compensate athletes through what many college leaders contend are phony endorsement and commercial deals, end quote. So, I got a lot of takes on all this, but I'll start with the simple one. Are they phony endorsement and commercial deals? Yeah. Yeah. At least the ones through the collectives are. But also no at the same time. Because most of these NIL collectives do require appearances and involvement with the collectives organizations from the athletes. I need you to show up to the mall and sign some autographs. I need you to go to this car dealership. I need you to come to my nephew's bar mitzvah. Whatever the case might be, I need you involved. I need you doing stuff. That is an endorsement. It is also an opportunity for those collectives to do, say, and sell things that bring more money in for them to do the same for more athletes down the line. So this is not shocking, surprising, disappointing, et cetera, for me. It just is what it is. Here's what this story says to me. We have heard schools, commissioners, coaches over the past couple of years saying, we need, and it's been my favorite word in this whole saga, guardrails. Guardrails. That's the phrase, I don't know why, has become the go-to. We need guardrails. And I thought about that. I've thought about that word a lot. And I think it was picked for a deliberate reason. Guardrails obviously keep you on the road. You know what they don't limit? Speed. They don't limit switching lanes. They create an outside set of regulatory boundaries without telling you how fast you can go or what direction you can go. The only thing a guardrail does is keep you from flying off the cliff, but it doesn't tell you how fast you can go between them. It doesn't tell you what direction, what lane shifting rules there are. You just kind of do what you want within that lane. Just don't fly over the cliff, yeah? That's kind of what we're talking about here. What I find interesting is this. Lonzo, if Tennessee is being punished, if Florida State is being punished, if Florida is being punished for NIL issues, that means what? That there are rules and regulations in place. And that these schools know that there are rules and regulations in place. Or at least are expected to. And that these schools are violating said rules and regulations anyway. This is not as big of a debacle as it's been made out to be. Let me tell you what's actually happened here, in my ever so humble opinion. When the NIL stuff started, there absolutely were rules, restrictions, regulations, dare I say, guardrails. They were absolutely put in place. The people that were running this whole boat were not stupid. There are absolutely rules, regulations in place. But I think there have been two things that have happened so far. Thing number one that has happened so far is that the colleges and universities don't care because the NCAA has been pushed into fecklessness. They have no teeth. They have no ability. And now, for the first time, they're actually trying to enforce the rules, regulations, and guidelines, and the schools don't like it. So all the schools that wanted these guardrails, now that the NCAA is pushing back, they're like, no, we don't want we don't want that. What the schools actually wanted was they wanted guardrails that they were in charge of. They wanted goalposts that were reasonable. They wanted rules, but they wanted rules the way that they wanted the rules. They didn't want rules. They wanted rules that regulated what the other schools could do to gain an advantage over them, not limitations on them. That's what this is about. And now that the NCAA is suddenly trying to enforce them, they're pushing back. But why is the NCAA not enforce them? Because, and I've told you this shouldn't be a shock to anybody, because the minute that the NCAA starts bringing the hammer down on everybody, then guess what happens? The SEC and the Big Ten and the schools within, if they are the ones that start getting hammered, like Tennessee, like if it was to happen, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, they would go, screw this. We're out. We're going to do our own thing. We're going to throw our own party. We're going to have our own place. We're going to do our own thing. We don't need no stinking NCAA. We'll just make our own rules. We'll just regulate ourselves. And the NCAA knows that. Just like the Atlantic Coast Conference is currently struggling to survive. The Big 12 is struggling to survive. The Pac-12 has failed to survive. The NCAA is trying to survive. And it's a weird spot to be in, on one hand, knowing that you've got to try to get after and discipline the schools under your umbrella, but also recognize that if you bring the hammer down, they may just leave your umbrella. And if the big dogs go out from under your umbrella, you're screwed. You're done. You're toast. You're out. And you don't exist anymore. People like Charlie Baker would suddenly be out of a job. All of this is avoidable. It's avoidable, and it won't happen. But if the schools and the conferences in question pledge to remain members of the NCAA and give the NCAA authoritative power to enforce NIL rules, we wouldn't be having these conversations. They would be fine to just levy laws across the whole thing. But that's not what's happened. What's happened is because every different state has taken an approach to the NIL, some very loose, some very strict. And obviously the schools within the very loose NIL states like Florida are going to go off. And when somebody calls them to the carpet, they're going to go, hold up. Wait a minute. Y'all didn't put this rule in place until, and our state says it's just fine. In other states where the NIL laws are a little bit more restrictive, like Arkansas, I believe, they're going to go, oh, we need guardrails. We need rules. Well, guess what, guys? If you are going to continue to, as many of the biggest schools have done, effectively just laugh at the existence of the NCAA, then the NCAA can't enforce anything. And if the NCAA can't enforce anything, there's only one entity that can, and that is literally the federal government. And does anybody right now want to say they trust the federal government to handle this the right way? Not even Liberov the woke warrior wants to say this needs to be handled by the federal government. What I am going to say is, unless the schools specifically inside the SEC and inside the Big Ten eventually say, we are committing to the NCAA. We are not going anywhere. We will do our own thing, which they won't, because that long-term is less profitable, and that's all that matters. Unless those schools are willing to say, we are standing up for and we will maintain the authority of the NCAA, then guess what, dudes? The NCAA can't do anything. They can't throw enough guardrails at this because the schools just aren't going to listen, right? That's why this whole thing is as chaotic as it is, because nobody wants to submit to the authority of the NCAA. And as long as the NCAA is aware of that fact, all they can do is occasionally get after a school who commits the most egregious violations, because that's the only way the other schools in question are going to be okay with it. We're good if Tennessee is really going above and beyond, but not if they're doing the same things we're doing. And if nobody's willing to submit to the NCAA, then how in the world do you expect them to do anything? They can't. And they won't. You know what we can and we will do? We will all sit back, relax, and enjoy the soothing sounds of this Sports Flash.
If I can make it through it. The final NFL head coaching job has been filled as the Washington Commanders hired former Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn to replace Ron Rivera. Quinn spent 5 years in charge of the Atlanta Falcons, going 43-42 and 3-2 in the playoffs, but thrived as defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. The NHL All-Star Game fires up this weekend in Toronto. The event will feature 4 teams, an All-Star Skills competition, and a special format game on Saturday night. Flip Forsberg represents the National Predators, while Sebastian Aho got the nod from the Carolina Hurricanes. Rookie sensation Connor Bedard will miss the game due to injury. Excuse me. Tune in Sunday at 1:30 as the Furman men's basketball team takes on UNC Greensboro right here on your home for Paladins football and basketball. The Fan, Upstate.
Meatruck.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings, homemade breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. The new platform developed by AmericanEagle.com has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of,
To answer your earlier question, Stephen, yes, I have been there before.
I have not. I've heard so much about it. That's where you get all the
Game
exotic
stuff.
meats,
Yeah,
right?
I ate emu there, kangaroo ribs, just some stuff that you just go, okay, that doesn't exist, does it really? Let me try that. And it was for a Christmas party, so I didn't have to buy it. So of course I went, yeah, I'll take one of these and these and these.
I got Mario coming on. I forgot to send him the link. And away we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the third hour of the Rob Brown Show. Right now, right here on the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown. Over on the other side of the metaphorical glass is the king of the nerds, the great one, Lonzo. The highest of compliments available to anyone, by the way.
Watching the world wake up from history. You did just, you reversed it.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah,
I'm not mad about it at all. It has just been a day back and forth, or really a week of it, of just sticking songs into each other's head out of, I don't know, spite, vengeance, animosity, whatever.
Or just because it's the song that pops in your head.
That's all. That's it. That's it.
Everything doesn't have to come from a place of emotion.
I'm a sensitive being. What do you want? All right. We got a lot coming up, a lot to do over the back half of the radio broadcast. We are actually going to go ahead and start our Super Bowl breakdown. Chiefs, Niners. We told you earlier in the show, heavy money coming in on Kansas City early. I will tell you, it will be on our website very soon, but the fine folks at Odyssey are currently gathering up, putting together a composite of the picks amongst the sports talk radio experts that work here at this fine corporation.
Can't wait to hear what you guys all say.
I got a chance to glance at the old cheat sheet yesterday of hosts from around the country, and they are of the same mind, great one, the mind that Kansas City has been the heavy favorite amongst folks working for this here sports radio corporation, which I find interesting.
Is the world ready for another Kansas City Super Bowl championship?
You know everybody's pulling for San Francisco, right?
Not everybody.
You're the dynasty now.
Not everybody.
Everybody who's not a Chiefs fan is a Niners fan. Everybody. They've done the survey. The map's red, but it's the San Francisco.
Wouldn't you rather it be that than people be uninterested?
Yes.
I
care. I love it when America cares. And if that means they've all got to stack up against the great one, so be it.
I hope they show Taylor for 2 minutes as opposed to 25 seconds or whatever it is, all collectively in a game.
There was more
I hope every
shots.
time she comes in, some guy, idiot, throws a brick at his TV.
Chad, Brad, Dad, and Thad getting mad. Oh, I didn't mean to rhyme, but that was good. I'm real good at this job, y'all. Hey, let's talk some basketball, shall we? My dude, the hating ass one himself, Mario Herron, expert basketball talking person from the BetQL Network. He is also the executive producer of my mom's favorite sports talk gambling show, Bet for the Cycle, which airs every Saturday from noon to 4 on the BetQL Network and fine Odyssey stations everywhere. Joins us now on the show.
Hey, real quick, this should bother you, Rob, that he wakes up with his hair looking like that and you have to put all that work into yours.
Oh, Dolly Parton once said, Lonzo,
wait,
takes a lot
she
of
can
money
speak?
to look this cheap.
Dolly Parton can speak?
Not only can she speak, when she speaks, it becomes law of the land. That Joe Biden's not my president. Dolly Parton is. Just so we're clear. Mario, what's up, young man?
Just a cherry on top of the Dolly Parton thing. Just heard Jolene about like a month ago. Pretty good song. Never heard it before, but hey, not bad.
On one hand, this is one of those times where I want to get real mad at you. But on the other hand, at least you acknowledge that it is a great song.
Yeah, but you got to think about the lyrics of the song. Why would dude leave Dolly Parton? I mean, what's Jolene? Jolene must be some sort of smoke show. If you're gonna,
that is literally what the song.
I mean, if you're gonna leave Dolly Parton and go mess with Jolene,
that's literally the song. Is that she is a knockout, and even Dolly Parton's like, your beauty is beyond compare.
Irish green eyes.
Yeah,
it's a green eyes.
Flaming locks of auburn hair with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Jolene's a banger, man. You're not wrong. I'm like simultaneous. Let me tell you where I am, Mario. It's the same that I'm looking at you right now as I do when the Ravens introduce their new head coach and he's also a child. It is I'm taking it out on you. It is infuriating that I, a very young person, am looking at NFL coaches 5 years younger than I am when I've accomplished nothing with my life.
Yeah, but you're talking to Mario. That's an accomplishment.
True. That's how I feel when Luca's a day younger than me or like a month younger than me or something like that. I'm like, God, we're at really different stages of life.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at least the dudes that are younger than you are still athletes. I'm now older than the coaches that coach the athletes. I'm now at the point where guys playing in games are the children of guys that were playing in games when I was older than them. Like, that's where I am in my life. It's not funny, Lonzo. It's not funny. All right? I'm going through an existential moment over here, and you're dropping that on me. Unbelievable. Let's talk a little basketball here with Mario Herron from the BetQL Network. All-Star rosters came out. LeBron going to number 20. Let me start with that. My dude has played 21 seasons. He's gone to 20 NBA All-Star games. I don't think, Mario, people understand how damn ridiculous that is.
You know, I'm a Jordan guy. I'll forever be a Jordan guy until I die. He is my Jesus. And I will say it is crazy impressive that he's on this streak. It's crazy impressive that we're at this moment where he is, you know, almost 40 years old and he's still a top 10 player in the NBA right now. It is absurd of what he's doing. It's also sad in a way that he's put up these numbers this year. He's playing this well this year. And the Lakers aren't like this competitive playoff team. Like, they're just not. And they're desperate to make a move. And, you know, they don't really have a lot of things to do to make a move. That being said, you know, congratulations to LeBron as an all-star starter. Whatever. Congrats. Sabonis, we're just not going to invite him. Sabonis just not going to get a call. Segun just not going to get a call. De'Aaron Fox just not going to get a call. Like, I understand that the NBA today is so infiltrated with talent. Like, there's just talent freaking everywhere. But, like, the fact that Sabonis is sitting at home, that Fox is sitting at home during the All-Star break, I hope they have the best margaritas in the world, because that's the biggest bull crap I've ever heard in my freaking life.
I was shocked by that. In fact, I had that conversation with Trista Crick yesterday, host of BetMGM Tonight, because she's on one about the Kings getting shut out as well, especially as good as they are. I want to go back to, let's go back to the Lakers, and then we'll come back to the Kings here in just a minute. I came into this year saying, you are at the point in your career where, or this franchise is at the point in their history where, if you are asking LeBron to be your number one threat night in, night out, you're not a championship caliber team. LeBron needs to be at a point in his career where he is a luxury, where him going out and having a 42-point night should be added on top of other guys, not other guys adding on top of that. And the fact that here we are at the All-Star break, and if it ain't, well, with the exception of last night, because Austin Reeves is a dog, but with the exception of the occasional Austin Reeves night and the occasional Anthony Davis night, basically, as go the Lakers, go LeBron. And that's why I've been telling people since a week and a half into the season, even when they were on their high note, the Lakers are not winning the NBA championship this year, dude. LeBron can't be your main dude. He needs to be a luxury, not your primary facilitator.
Not at all. And like you said, like, you need pressure off of him. Like, you need scoring off of him. And one of the reasons, like, coming into this year, you watch Austin Reeves play with USA team over the summer. Kind of saw him how he finished out last year. I think a lot of people, I was at least expecting, like, him to kind of take this leap of, like, let me go get you 22 a game this year. Like, let me go get you that and step up in these key moments, kind of like he did last night against the Celtics when LeBron is out. But, like, the fact of the matter is, like, they don't have that. Like, they don't have someone that can play when LeBron's like, hey, guys, I am a billion years old, and I almost played against Jordan. That's how old I am. Like, I need a break. And, you know, there's no one on that team that goes, yeah, I got it. Anthony Davis can't do that because Anthony Davis needs a break with him. Like, his young star needs the exact same minutes restriction, as that exact same rest days as him. They're also three-point shooting. Sucks. They also have D'Angelo Russell. By the way, he's a one step forward, 6 steps back type of player. So I put him in the category as sucks. You need more 3-and-D guys. Are we really going to run this back with Buddy Hield to work perfectly with you? He's not going to LA. You want Zach LaVine? He doesn't play defense. And then on top of that, Darvin Ham's not, it's proven that I don't think he's as bad as coach people are saying he is. I know his defensive coverages have made no sense, but there's no faith in the locker room in anyone with Darvin Ham. It's just an all-out disaster. And Rob, to be honest with you, I'm pretty excited about it. Like, it makes me feel good inside.
Yeah. We were talking about that earlier with the heavy Vegas money coming in on the Kansas City Chiefs. I said, it's almost ironic because everybody wants to see the Chiefs dynasty fall, but nobody's betting on it to do it. I don't have that same vibe with the Lakers, man. Like there's probably 9 teams out west. I'll say this. If you put them in a playoff series right now, even though I cannot stand Willie Green as the head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, I legitimately think it's a 50-50 shot that New Orleans could beat the Lakers in a 7-game series right now, and they are far from a top-tier contender in the West. This team is not it, man.
No, they're not it, but in a series, I'm kind of with you in terms of, like, they're so young, like, they can throw just so many guys around. Like, just throw so many guys in there and see what happens. The only thing is put that series at 5 games so Anthony Davis and Zion don't get hurt. That'd be my only request, because at some point that's going to happen, and then we're all going to be sad that this is not a good series. But I'm kind of with you. Like, I think the Pelicans, bearing fully healthy, could definitely take them in a series. I mean, the Mavericks could take the Lakers in a series. The Suns could dominate them in a series. Kings could take them. Like, there's probably 7 to 8 teams I would take right now over them in a series in the West. And that's, one, a sign to how far behind the Lakers are, and 2, just how loaded that conference is.
Speaking of the Dallas Mavericks, we talked about them yesterday because earlier in the week, Jason Kidd said Luka Doncic is better than Dirk Nowitzki was for Dallas. I actually don't agree. I don't disagree with that. And I love Dirk. I got a Dirk jersey in the closet. There are 3 basketball jerseys I own that aren't New Orleans jerseys. I got a Jordan 90s Bulls jersey, as does everyone else my age. I've got a 33 Larry Bird jersey that my uncle gave me when I was in high school. Can't fit in it, but I own it. And I've got a Dirk Nowitzki jersey from his prime in Dallas because I love that dude's game. I do think Luka can go above him. Jay Kidd says he deserves to be in the conversation with Kobe, with LeBron, with Mike. And Lonzo and I had the same thought, which is, like maybe towards the end of his career, we'll look back and say that. Not ready to say that now. I will say this. The fact that the Mavericks either can't or won't build a team around this guy is beyond infuriating. The best they've done is go get him Kyrie Irving. Why are they wasting the 24-year-old season of Luka Doncic?
So I'm happy you brought this up because I agree they're not doing anything to build around Luka. Talent-wise, yes, he has potential. We'll say that, all right? He has potential to be on the status of LeBron, Kobe, surpass Dirk as the greatest Mav. Absolutely, 110%. They're not building around him. And get that dork Jason Kidd out the door.
Dork.
Did you I'm watching the Magic game, and they have the lead. There's about 60 seconds left. Magic score. They're taking the ball out of bounds right in front of Jason Kidd. Hardaway's trapped in the corner. They have 2 timeouts. He's just staring at Hardaway Jr., just trapped with 2 6'8" guys around him going, hey, buddy, I hope you figure something out. Like numbnuts. 2 timeouts. Use one of them. It was insanity to me. And this is the same guy that I remember last year. I was a producer for the Rose Garden Report with Sean Hyken. Check it out if you're a Blazers fan. Does incredible work. And we had this Mavs reporter, and we're talking to him about the job that Jason Kidd did. And he goes, yeah, a lot of points this year. He just yelled, do something. Do something. Not a play. Not, hey, these are the matchups. He yelled, do something. What are we doing with this guy? He wasn't a good coach with the Bucks. Like, he's not a good head coach. You need someone else in there to help with Luka, to help with Kyrie. And I just don't think Jason Kidd's it. And I think that's a lot of the issue with the Mavs because, they've had guys step up to look better. I think Grant Williams is a great pickup, but I think they need a head coaching change over there in Dallas.
Look, if you're going to help Kyrie, what you need is a certified therapist at this point, I think. I don't know that a coach is going to get it done, which is why I didn't like the pickup then. I don't understand the pickup now. But hey, bygones are bygones. Let's talk about this 65-game rule. There's a lot of conversation going on about it right now. Joel Embiid the other day has another player land on his leg. A lot of people calling him soft for missing games. Turns out it's got a torn meniscus. He's going to miss the All-Star game and maybe some time on the other side. And I think he can only miss 5 more games before he's ineligible to win the MVP in a season where my dude went 21 consecutive games scoring 30 or more, including a 70-plus point effort. Has the 65-game rule soured? Because it, when they put it in, I kind of liked it. I was like, all right, feels like a good idea. And now that we might lose Embiid, and I'm a dude that spent all year last year arguing, oh, Embiid had a great year. Nikola Jokic should have got his 3rd in a row last year. He was that good. He should have been that guy. Joel Embiid is the front runner this season for a reason. Do you think the NBA might walk that rule back? Because to me, it kind of feels like if Joel Embiid, let's say he plays 64 and he can't win the MVP despite what he was doing before the injury, if he comes back and he goes right back to that same tear, but he can't win the MVP because he's a game or two short, the NBA is going to have a real PR problem because of this rule.
The best ability is availability. That I will live and die by that. Look, it's the 65-game rule is people complaining about it. There's players complaining about it. You're told that you're going to be played 82 games before the season. That's already cut in half. A lot of you guys don't do that. Look, people spend a lot of money to see you. There's TV contracts. There's money to be made because there's so much talent in this freaking league. If you can't play 65 games, then I'm sorry, you don't deserve an award. You just don't deserve it. And by the way, is this the first time we're having a problem with MVP? Is this really going to be the first problem in NBA history? Do you guys remember Steve Nash won an MVP over Kobe? Do you remember Karl Malone won an MVP over Michael Jordan? This happens. This isn't a new thing that oh my God, wow, the NBA has an MVP problem. No, this is welcome to the 21st century, Buck Rogers. This has been happening for a really, really long time. This is a constant debate because it's the biggest award in the NBA. And, has Embiid played out of his mind? Absolutely. He's scoring title leader right now, and it's unbelievable. But you also can't tell me that every single year there's not at least 3 players that deserve the MVP. You make a strong case that SGA is going to deserve MVP at the end of this year. Right now, he's 3rd in scoring. He could go to 1st. And by the way, he's 1st in steals, so he does on both sides of the floor. We just talked about Luka. You made a strong case that Luka could deserve MVP at the end of the season. Depending if the Mavs move up in rankings, you could make an argument for Giannis. You can make an argument, for Donovan Mitchell. New York Knicks fans are being outrageous, annoying, and no one likes them. But they're making an argument for Brunson right now. You can always make an argument for at least 3 players to 5 players in the NBA for MVP. If you can't play 65 games to separate yourself from those others, I'm sorry, you do not deserve the award. And also, but Embiid doesn't care though. He's all about the title this year, that's my other thing too. He's all about the title.
All right, last one. Then we got to get out of here. Mario Herron, BetQL expert, joining us here on the show. Also executive producer of Bet for the Cycle. Because of some show-related situations, Cody Decker's going to be in Vegas this week covering the Super Bowl. For some reason, Mario and I did not catch an invite to that. Still a little offended by it. So next week on the show, unless one of us hits our 3-legger this week, Lonzo, Mario also has to put down the 75 Nuggets. Scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you about that, buddy?
Insanely nervous. I've been thinking strategy for the past 3 days. I had a meeting with our BetQL boss, Rob, and legitimately 10 minutes of it was talking chicken nugget strategy. That's just what it was. Of where are you going to get them from? How are you going to do it? That's just what we were talking about. My stomach already hurts. I think sauces for the last 10.
Yep.
And, my stomach's going to be ruined for at least 2 weeks.
Yep.
But hey.
Oh, for sure.
I
fully anticipate that we're going to call it a day at the end of the show. And now we have decided that, and this is why you all need to listen to the show tomorrow. We got one last parlay v parlay challenge. If either team wins tomorrow, they are off the hook for the 75 Nuggets. But next Saturday, somebody's going 75 deep. What's our game?
Oh, let me pull it up right now. It is Bucks. I know it's an NBA game.
We're switching. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, you have to. So it's Bucks. Let me pull up right here. Bucks versus Mavericks.
Bucks, Mavs. I like it. Luka and the points over. Let's lock that in.
Yeah.
Mario Heron is the NBA insider for the BetQL network. He is also the executive producer for Bet for the Cycle, which airs every Saturday from noon to 4 on the BetQL network. Thanks for coming by, big fella.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hope Chiefs lose and Lonzo, hair looks good as ever. And Rob, the hair looks really good too.
Listen, he's a Chiefs fan. You just told him you hope his team loses the Super Bowl. Your hair compliments are not accepted anymore.
Well, they kind of equal out. And so
out?
that's why I did that. Yeah,
right.
it's all right.
You stay neutral on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Checkers.
Yeah, hair people get it. I mean, you wouldn't, but still.
Yeah.
You tried to get it. You tried to.
Yeah, but then,
Happy wife, happy life, buddy. That's the game. See you now. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Later on. That is Mario Heron from the BetQL network. Joins us to talk basketball on Fridays.
We did have 2 calls, but we still have 1 call hanging on. Can we squeeze that in before we take a break?
Is it Mike?
No, but he's on there too.
Okay, perfect.
Can we squeeze in a caller, though?
Sure, why not? Let's do that.
Let's go to Mongo really quick.
If Lonzo says we're 2 minutes late and we need a call, it means the call's going to be great.
Mongo's been waiting, so.
Mongo, what's up, big dog? Welcome in. Good to have you back, buddy.
What's going on, Rob? Listen, man, Mark and Diesel don't want to hear my blather about pro wrestling, and I know you guys enjoy it. So here's the deal. My son trains at a local pro wrestling facility called Asylum Pro Wrestling, and I've been tasked to go around and start promoting this thing. So every Friday night, bell time, 8 o'clock, $15 ringside, $10 general admission. Best show around, man. We got action-packed from 8 to 10:30, 11 o'clock. And February 23rd, we've got former WWE and TNA superstar Heath coming in.
Hey, he got kids.
He got kids, baby. So, like I say, just shameless plug, man. Everybody come out and see us. Check us out. It's a great show, family-friendly, full-service concession stand. $15 ringside, $10 general admission, man.
All right, wait.
Wrestling.
Wait. You didn't say where it is.
Yo. Oh, I'm horrible at this. 122 Builders Court, Bowling Springs, South Carolina.
All right, Mongo, here's the deal, bud. We believe in you. We're gonna help you with the promoter skills. All right. We're gonna get you there. You're gonna be a modern day Paul Heyman. Always got to hit the who, what, where, when, and why. And then at some point, you got to call somebody out. You got to put some drama into it, man. So who, what, where, when, why, and then call somebody a loser, and it's going to work every time.
Well, here's the thing. I am also, let me say this. I also am a manager at this facility. So, Brother Silas, the good shepherd of truth and redemption, what he'll tell you right now is tonight I'm bringing my angel of death with me to take some souls.
Now I'm in. See, Mongo, I'm in now.
Yeah.
Now I don't even know what that means, and I'm in.
That's Brother Silas. I don't know. I don't always see Mongo. I just heard Brother Silas saying that.
Mongo, man, brother, that was some weird old dude, man.
Yeah.
He came in and walked off. I don't know who the hell that was.
Can't make it tonight. I will be at the next one. Good luck tonight, big dog. Let us know when the next one goes down.
Every Friday night, Rob.
Beautiful. I love it. Mongo checking in to promote some support local wrestling. He's coming. He got kids. Of course he's coming. He's got kids. Michael Pius from First Tee of the Upstate up next because he has got a pretty killer prize that you can win while you support a fantastic local charity. And we're going to tell you about it next on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. That's awesome.
The phone lines were lighting up.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. We have one guest today, and you're all going to call when we're on that. Awesome.
We got to go see some Mongo.
Oh, hell yeah.
Brother Silas. I love Brother Silas already.
I do too. All right, guys, we're going to say, boy, I got to use the restroom. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
grown a lot in the last few years. Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the need.
Several sources are saying Caleb Williams does not want Chicago Bears to pick him.
He's going to Eli Manning
He
them.
would like to play with Commanders or Raiders. Who says that? That's why I don't believe it. Why would you want to play with the Commanders? That's cool, James. Haven't been to any local wrestling in a long time.
That's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Okay, that makes sense, Zach.
Yes, Cliff did get hired by the Raiders.
Chicago ain't going to pick a quarterback anyway.
I think they are. I think they're trading Justin Fields.
We'll see.
I could legitimately see Justin Fields in Atlanta next year. I think Atlanta or Pittsburgh.
I hope it's in Atlanta then, because then I can actually see him play some.
Sponsored by Family Dollar.
Getting ready for the big game? Keep everyone cheering with the perfect lineup of game day essentials. Pick up brand favorite snacks and soft drinks at great everyday low prices. And save even more when you shop with Smart Coupons. Family Dollar.
No comment, BTR. No comment. Wow, speaking of one of those shows.
But #2 in sports might surprise you. Brent Beard, Heisman Trophy voter, joins the show on when the fix will be in for college football. Plus, we'll preview Clemson and South Carolina's weekend hardwood action.
#1 for real afternoon sports talk.
Offsides with Mark Ryan.
3 to 7 on the Fan.
Upstate.
Always streaming wherever you are on the Odyssey.
Onward and forward rolls the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Now joining us on the phone line is a gentleman I've had the pleasure to, I'm going to say work with. Let's be real. He's done all the hard work, and I just talk to him sometimes. Michael Pius, the executive director of the First Tee of the Upstate, joins us here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. What's up, young man?
Hey, Rob. Thanks again for having me on. I appreciate it.
Of course, buddy. Happy to do it. And especially happy to do it because I believe you told me off the air that if the winner of the round of golf at Pebble Beach wins, they're obligated and must take me with them. Is that what you told me earlier?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's a foursome, so I'm a good travel buddy too. I mean, I'm just going to throw that out there to the listeners. Go out, have a good time. I actually got to caddy out there a few times for one of my First Tee participants when they played in the First Tee Open years ago. So yeah, let's make it a trip.
I love it. I love it. Michael Pius here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. And you don't have to take Mike and I. You can. You're welcome to. But you don't have to take Mike and I if you win the round of golf, the foursome at Pebble Beach. This is, we talked about this the last couple of years running now, Mike, because it is something awesome that you guys do, because not only do people get to give to an organization that I have believed in for years now. I used to do work with the First Tee down in Pensacola as well. But you also might get to go play Pebble Beach, which if you're going to give to charity, that's a pretty good prize for doing it.
Yeah. So, I mean, for those listeners that don't know much about the First Tee, so we're a youth development program that teaches kids life skills through the game of golf. So we're using the game of golf as that vehicle to teach honesty and integrity and sportsmanship, goal setting, resiliency skills, appreciating diversity. You know, these are all skills that are going to make them great golfers, but also great future leaders. And these are skills that they're going to bring to school. They're going to bring home with them, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a great way to, again, learn the great game of golf, but also those inherent values that go along with the game. And this is perfect timing to have me on with our spring registration just opening up last week. We had a record number of kids register in the first day. We still have a few spots available. We actually have some classes that already have a wait list, but we've got classes starting the week of March 11th. So you can get on our website at firstteeupstate.org/register. And parents can take a look at classes at the Reese Greenville, the Preserve at Verde. Top Golf is actually one of our newest weekly locations. So we'll have classes at Top Golf, Greer Golf, Willow Creek, Woodfin Ridge, the Fort Club down in Greenwood, Links of Tryon, Cross Creek in Seneca, and Cherokee National up in Gaffney. So, we're growing like crazy. We got a great group of kids in the program that are coming back. That we're retaining a lot of great kids that are playing on their high school teams and getting to play in some state tournaments and stuff like that now. So, shelling out some great golfers, but also great kids too. So, would love to get your kids, your grandkids involved. The listeners out there, just log on to our website again. It's firstteeupstate.org/register. And then, we're a nonprofit, so we have to do fundraising events, and we create unique experiences for our kids to learn these great golf skills and life skills. But we also put on some unique fundraisers. So just like this one, the golf trip out to Pebble Beach, we've been doing this, since 2019. We kind of mixed it up. We went to Whistling Straits one year, went down to Harbor Town another year during COVID. But we're back doing the Pebble Beach trip, and it just gets better and better every year. We got 3 rounds of golf for 4 golfers, Pebble Beach, Spyglass, and TPC Harding Park, 3-night stay at the lodge at Pebble Beach. So you literally roll out of bed and you're on the 18th fairway right there. So if you're watching the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am this week, you'll be able to see the lodge. Your room will be right there on the 18th fairway. And then up to $2,000 in air transportation. So, and if you're crazy enough to win this and you don't want to go to Pebble, you can cash it in for $5,000, which would just be insane.
Lifetime memory, $5,000. I feel like it works out pretty well for you either way. But go play the damn course, man. Go play the course. Come on. Sorry, courses.
Yeah. And only 500 tickets are sold. So you got great odds. Get your foursome together. Each one of you buy a ticket, do the handshake deal. Hey, if I win, you're going, blah, 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 back and forth. Chop it up, 1 ticket, whatever, $25 each for your foursome. Tickets are only $100. It's a great deal. It's a great cause, great way to get involved with our organization. So thanks again for having me on and talking about this great trip.
Yeah, of course. Michael Pius from First Tee of the Upstate here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Real quick, because I actually have not gotten a chance to ask you this question. How many kids in the Upstate do you guys have enrolled in this program? How many kids are you helping to get those life skills through this incredible game?
We had a record number of kids last year. We had 801 kids sign up for our golf course programming. Again, from Gaffney to Seneca, all the way down to Greenwood now. We pretty much encompass almost the entire Upstate now. And then we have one of the largest school programs in the country per capita. We've got over 64,000 kids that go through our school program. So if your school doesn't have our First Tee program in their schools, in their physical education classes, please reach out to us. We'd love to get the equipment, the manuals, the lesson plans to the PE teachers so that they can conduct the programming right there during their PE classes. We have some great schools. We're in every school in Cherokee County, Spartanburg County, all but 2 in Greenville County. We've added a couple private schools. We have Christ Church that's going to be starting our program this month. We've got a school in Seneca. We've got 8 schools coming on board in Greenwood. So that's a massive, massive program for us, and a lot of fun. We provide modified, plastic clubs, tennis balls, Velcro targets. It's all very colorful equipment. The kids absolutely love it. It's a lot different than just, and I love basketball, so nothing against basketball, but it's a lot better than just taking a basketball, throw it out in the gym and say, run around for 25 minutes. Our program is very structured. Again, the secret sauce is the character education. So when a kid goes to their PE class, they're not only learning how to chip, pitch, putt, full swing, but they're also learning about honesty and integrity and courtesy and responsibility.
Michael Pius is the executive director of the First Tee of the Upstate, an incredible program. I've had the pleasure of doing some stuff with them over the years. Right now, their 2024 Pebble Beach Golf Trip Rally, you can get your tickets. They're $100 a pop. If you win the grand prize, it is 3 rounds of golf at Pebble Beach, at Spyglass, and TPC Harding. 3 nights, including hotel accommodations at the Lodge at Pebble Beach, up to $2,000 in air transportation. Or if you want to be weird and not play the golf, you can get $5,000 cash in lieu of the trip. Get your tickets right now by going to firstteeupstate.org. Mike, you guys are the best, man. Thanks for coming by and talking to us about it, fella.
Thanks a lot, Rob. I really appreciate it.
Anytime, my man. That is Michael Pius, executive director of the First Tee of the Upstate. Go, listen, trust me, get involved with this, all right? Get involved with this. I'll tell you right now, if you would like to take Lonzo, he's going to drive to meet you. But I think we could get Zoe to drive to California and play his first round of golf at Pebble Beach.
That's a long drive.
It is, but it's Pebble Beach.
It
might be the most famous golf course in the world.
I got a lot of vacation days.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, why not?
Take your time. First round of, if you win, you can take Lonzo if you want. He'll meet you there. All right. Or you can take me. You take both of us. We'll do the Rob Brown Show from Pebble Beach on our dime.
We can do that. We're capable.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to Mario. Let's take a break. When we come back in just a minute. Y'all, South Carolina has had some games against Tennessee. They had the 63-point outburst on the football field. They knocked off a top 6 Tennessee team. Tennessee did something yesterday so heinous, so awful. I have to talk about it because I'm furious. And I'll tell you what it is when we come back on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
With a 69-67 win at Elon. The Campbells back to 500 at 11-11. James Madison beat Coastal Carolina 105-67. App State 81-71 winners at Georgia State. Major League Baseball spring training just about 2 weeks away. Pitchers and catchers report on Valentine's Day for the Braves. Your first workout is a day later. Position players report on February the 19th with the first full squad workout on February the 20th.
We would never, James, never engage in vulgar, inappropriate behavior like that on the show. We're better than that.
Traffic still pretty impressive rush hour, not a lot of issues. We had a little bit of activity I-85 near Old Post Road. Had some construction of blocking one lane, so it was briefly slow, not a huge backup. South on I-85 delays there still south of Rockland and Kleiman. Moving down past Highway 14 as you move down towards Pelham Road. A little bit of activity there was in the right lane down on the shoulder, so a little bit slow there, but not a huge backup. For the new Salt 98.9 WRD Traffic Center, I'm Lloyd Houston on the Fan Upstate.
Big truck!
Tex just said, I'm so pumped up about these bleeping ribeyes, I could barely sleep last night.
Oh, that means they're there right now.
All right, guys, I know it's only 9, but we're ending the show because we got to go to the meat truck.
I'll be over around there later on this afternoon.
You gonna stop by the meat truck?
I might,
Out of curiosity, if
might,
nothing else.
I might see what the lines are like. You know, see if the advertising dollars were worth it. I wonder if they only bought this station.
Meat truck.
Get the appliances you need right away at Lowe's. Explore the largest assortment of brands you trust, like Whirlpool, Samsung, and LG, in-store or online at the best values.
I apologize for yawning. I had to take medication that seems to curb the coughing. There are other effects. Dayquil is not supposed to make you sleepy, but I'm a weirdo, so.
Based on anyone else. Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate. Not available unless you're California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates of return and several factors which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save you DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates North Illinois.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lived.
I believe that it is out.
And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of.
I'll have to dig it up. I had it somewhere. I don't know, man. Like they're gonna have a problem because they had a lot of talent leave, like a lot of skill talent leave. Last year they got carried by having some real good talent, and a lot of those guys aren't there anymore. So it could be it's going to be interesting this year. Obviously want nothing but the best, but how you respond to adversity is big.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the
State 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
from your free Odyssey,
The Rob Brown Show carries on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo with you on a beautiful Upstate Friday morning. Our first football-free weekend since like August of last year. And this is true, hate it. I hate it a lot. I miss it already. I miss football. We're not even done with football, and I miss football. So
here's the real reason why you hate it. Because, I got to watch football. It's my job. I got to watch football. It's my job. Hey, there's no football. Here's all the things that you didn't get done while you were watching football. Time to start working on them.
NBA's on all day, buddy. Got to watch the NBA. We talk about the NBA on both my shows.
I don't think it works as well as
it
football.
Does not. I also know that it does not. Hey, you know how the Gamecocks put up 63 on Tennessee a while back? You know how they went into good old Rocky Top, Tennessee this past year and got it done on the road against the number 16 in America. You know how South Carolina has had despite a 41-20 loss this year on the football field, outside of that pretty good record going against Tennessee in the terms of the sportsing over the last couple of years. Tennessee strikes back, Lonzo. As yesterday in the state of Tennessee, under the shadow of Rocky Top, Tennessee authorities arrested Hootie. Darius Rucker arrested in Tennessee on a minor drug offense. A spokesperson for the Williamson County Sheriff's Office, you angrily scratched that off the list. There was no way we weren't getting to this in real time. No way.
You've missed things before, so it's definitely a possibility.
A spokesperson for the Williamson County Sheriff's Office in Tennessee confirmed to the Post that 57-year-old Darius Rucker was booked on 3 separate charges. The Hootie and the Blowfish member was what do you mean member? He's Hootie.
No,
It's his band.
there is no Hootie.
Was charged with 2 counts of simple possession, casual exchange of a controlled substance, and 1 count of a violation of the state's vehicle registration law. In layman's terms, Rucker was allegedly involved in a drug handoff, and a law enforcement claimed his tags were expired. I love this. He appeared emotionless in his mugshot. Yeah, I'm sure because he was like halfway between stoned and furious.
Is he supposed to cry? His career is over? I mean,
let him cry. If the tears fall down like rain, you know I had to. Come on, man. It was right there.
I set you up.
It was right there. Released on $10,500 in bond. Tennessee, I know you're mad. All right. I know you're upset. I know you're mad. I get it. South Carolina's owned you. You got a football win, but it wasn't the 63-point beatdown they hammered on you. They came into your house the other day, and they knocked off your number 6 team and established themselves up towards the top of the SEC pecking order. I get it. I understand. Like, I respect it. But leave Hootie alone, all right? Leave Hootie alone. Do you think for a second that cracked rear view wasn't inspired by a little hippie lettuce? Of course it was. Let him cry. Let my man live.
Was he above the law? I mean,
Dude, can I tell you what I'm most excited about?
He should be arrested for his foray into country music.
No, he should not.
Yeah, I mean,
Should not.
absolutely.
Darius is great. Darius is great. Let me tell you what I am most excited about right now. What I am most excited about right now is, you know what Darius can foray into now? Outlaw country. Darius Rucker enters outlaw country, and I am buying album number 1 on drop night. Spotify, iTunes, CD, cassette, I don't care. Hootie going outlaw is where I want to be. That's what I'm looking for. Can't wait. Can't wait. Outlaw Hootie is going to be next level. He gave you what he gave you with Hootie and the Blowfish. He had I thought, pretty good foray into country music. Now I want full outlaw country. Darius Rucker. Let Darius live, man. Like, I get it, Tennessee. You're mad. You're upset. But you ain't got to do my boy like that.
So would you be willing to come against him if he decided to go bro country instead?
Darius is incapable of bro country.
Well,
He's incapable of bro country. You got to have a little Delta Bravo in you to pull off bro country. All right? There's no Delta Bravo in Hootie that I'm aware of. I don't know the guy personally. There's like an ex-girlfriend of his out there that said that this is karma. All right. I mean, hey, relationships go sour. I don't ever gauge a person's character based on the comments of an ex, because you never know how it went down, right? I'm just saying, Rocky Top, I get you're upset. I get you're frustrated. I get the Gamecocks came into your house and gave it to you the other night. I get that they bumped you out of the number 2 spot in the SEC. I get you're frustrated, but don't take it out on Hootie. Hootie didn't do it, all right? Don't take it out on Darius.
well, he did do something. That's why he was trailed after a handoff. I mean, and they're not even talking about what kind of drugs it was. That implies to me that's a little bit harder than what you're acting like as far as drugs go.
Somebody said, Hootie putting the blow in Blowfish.
See, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like it might be a little something harder.
I don't know, man. It's Tennessee. I don't know. Like outlaw country Darius, who just wanted to get involved with some devil's lettuce after a concert. Like, I get it. Let
No,
it be.
no way it's marijuana, dude. It's something harder.
$10, it's marijuana. $10. They literally popped him
All
with
right,
weed
all right.
because it's Tennessee.
Lunch.
That it comes out. Darius was high. That's it. He was high. He had some weed, as by the way, like 90% of that type of music artists have. You think Dave Matthews is coming up with Dave Matthews stuff without a little weed and shrooms? No. You think Cracked Rear View wasn't inspired by the ganja? Of course it was. Listen to that album. Let Hootie free. Free Hootie. Hashtag free Hootie. Get it trending.
Didn't realize I was working with an expert on that sort of thing. So, I mean, okay. All right.
I've been around musicians most of my life. The folks in Tennessee they're on one, man. They're so mad they took it out on who. By the way, if you don't think like 90% of the music out of Nashville isn't made by folks participating in that particular lifestyle, you don't know country music, man. You just don't.
You're right. I don't.
Oh, leave Hootie alone. All right. Just leave Hootie alone. Sports Flash.
The NBA's annual All-Star Game will take place February 18th in Indianapolis, and yesterday the rosters for the East and the West were dropped as the game returns to a traditional conference versus conference format. LeBron James will lead the West as he plays in his record 20th All-Star Game, while Giannis will captain the East. Kevin Durant, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander are starters alongside James. Giannis will run with Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and Damian Lillard, that's Damian Lillard, by the way, along with Joel Embiid's injury replacement. You tried doing this without coffee. The final NFL head coaching job has been filled as the Washington Commanders hired former Dallas defensive coordinator Dan Quinn to replace Ron Rivera. Tune in Sunday at 1:30 as the Furman men's basketball team takes on UNC Greensboro right here on the Fan Upstate. Maybe I should project less on those.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then build our portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably take in some hidden or layered fees.
No, we have one.
I don't drink coffee. Never have, never will. No, I've been sick for like 3 weeks, dude.
Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou.
Let him get high. Oh, that's good. There's your parody song. Knew it. There was one in there somewhere.
I don't know. Cadence wise, that'd be kind of hard to fit that.
Nah, we can make that work.
previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live
I think
with.
Izzy High probably will work better.
He got high.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college.
Pulled over by the cops.
On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch. Only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft?
All right, I'm trying to click on the TMZ thing to see what kind of stuff she accuses him of doing.
Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Here's the biggest game of the year. Super Bowl 50. The Chiefs versus the
He's actually not a bad singer, Zach.
Next to my name, it very clearly emphasizes background in background vocals.
He's by far not the worst singer on the station.
I will accept that as true. Oh, man. Yeah! The fourth, the final hour of the week of the Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello to you. And how do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, America.
I'm talking to America here.
What up, world? Great to be with you. I am Rob Brown, the Great Lonzo, on the ones and the twos today. You want to be a part of the radio program? Now's a wonderful time to do it. The renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone is there for you. 844-326-3663. 844-FANFONE. You can text us on the text line right now, as a matter of fact, at 71307. 71307 is the text line number. Start your text with FAN, F-A-M. We'll read it on the air. Texter says, Dave Matthews confirmed it. I worked barricade at his concert this fall. Talked about writing a song after doing shrooms and then played it. Oh, yeah, I was there. I need you all to know that a good, healthy chunk of your favorite music, 100% drug inspired.
All right, a couple questions there. Working barricade?
Yeah, at the concert.
What's that mean?
At the front of, there's a barricade between the
So a bouncer,
where the fans and the
security?
stage- security.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
basically.
And you said you were there. So you were also partaking of the mushrooms?
No, I was
Okay.
not.
Okay, all right.
I was not. It's not my bag. It's also not my bag to care if other people do. Live and let live. It's your life. Go bananas.
Unless it's Aaron Rodgers, then it's fair game.
I've never busted up Aaron for being a shroom guy. That's not what I busted up Aaron for. Aaron doesn't get busted because he does shrooms. Have at, big dog. I don't care. If you listen.
All right, don't do anything that's illegal because that can get you arrested, like Darius Rucker.
If you can go out there and you can Doc Ellis it, have at. Live your life. I'm not here to judge. Doc Ellis threw a no-no on LSD. If you can perform at that level, go bananas. I don't care. Have a ball, man. Have a ball. Texas says, what is this country music you speak of? Never heard about it.
You are a blessed individual.
Haters. Noted country music star Taylor Swift.
Yeah, like the first year she was out.
All right, let's get to some sports balls conversations, shall we? As we round out the week of broadcasting here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. A couple of things we have not gotten an opportunity to get to at this point. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, though we did not go in depth in it. The professional golfers, the PGA, Professional Golf Association. Yeah, that's it. I know this. I've done sports before. PGA Tour has entered into a partnership with an outside organization that could pump as much as $3.1 billion with a B dollars into the tour. Earlier this week, Rory McIlroy. What is happening to me today? Rory McIlroy issued a statement that a lot of people found very interesting. Rory McIlroy, that's the guy, that's the name.
You got to pronounce it that way every single time now, right?
Kent State. Rory McIlroy said that now he does believe that LIV Tour guys should be able to come back without a penalty. Now he does believe that guys who left the PGA Tour to go play on the LIV Tour should be welcomed back with open arms. And Journey, yes.
I was thinking with arms wide open. So, I mean.
I like that too. I'm good with it either way. Rory said that guys that left the tour should be allowed to come back. No problems, no questions, no worries. And that was a departure from the statements made by Rory McIlroy in days gone by. He had been up until this week a very staunch advocate of guys who left the tour having to have some sort of fine penalty imposed upon them before they get back. And when he made the switch, I scratched my head because I was very confused by it. I was like, why? Why now, Rory McIlroy? Why now? And now I think we kind of know our answer. This $3 billion influx into the tour is the reason why. Because the PGA Tour has said that they are going to take a chunk of that money. They are going to create an investment in the tour, of which the players on the tour will own equity. And the longer you have been on the tour, the more successful you have been on the tour, the more of that equity you will receive as a player. Which means that guys like Rory McIlroy, who have been in the game a hot minute, will profit more from the equity involved in this investment by the PGA Tour. So it makes sense. My question for you as a fan is, do you want to see the tours get back together, right? If the PGA Tour is indeed beginning to take steps to have the guys that left for LIV feel like they are welcome back into the fold. Is that good? I know a couple of dudes, golf fans, that have basically said, screw them, right? They took off. They left. Bye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you, as the saying goes. The more I thought about it, the more I absolutely want the PGA Tour to keep going out of their way to bring guys back. When I tune in to watch the NFL on Sundays, the reason that I love it is because it is the best players in the world at that sport playing each other. Same with the NBA, same with Major League Baseball. The reason that MLS, Major League Soccer, is having such a tough time, and it's doing as well as it's ever done, but the reason it is having such a tough time getting itself into the public spotlight is very simple. It's not the best players in the world doing best players in the world thing. Why do you think that spring football has been such a passion project for so many people that has struggled every time that they have tried it? It is because we have the best players in the world in one league already. And while this may not be a global phenomenon, it most certainly is an American phenomenon. We are going to watch the best at a thing do that thing and nobody else or less. That's just the way we operate. And it pretty much always has been. We are going to watch the best do the best and not much else. Why do you think FCS college football struggles? There are plenty of sidewalk supporters for the Alabamas and the Georgias and the Clemsons and the South Carolinas. Plenty of folks, no affiliation to the school. They just grew up a fan. Why? Because they grew up a fan of top-notch sports, top-level sports. You ever notice you don't have a lot of sidewalk supporters of the Furman Paladins or the Appalachian State Mountaineers or the New Mexico State Lobos? Not a lot of sidewalk supporters. Why? Because it's not the best at the game doing it. With all due respect to those schools. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It just is what it is, right? So the reason, I think, that if I am a golf fan, and I am, is because I very much want all of the best golfers in the world all together. It is real tough to follow soccer. I'm a soccer guy. I'm a soccer fan. Most soccer fans have an EPL team, an English Premier League team, because that is the league where most, not all, but the largest share of the best soccer players in the world play. And so if I'm going to watch the best in the world. I don't have a Turkish league team. I don't have an Egyptian league team or Moroccan league team, a Saudi Arabian league team. I have an EPL team. I'm not connected to them in any way. I've never been to a Chelsea match. I've never been to Chelsea. I haven't been to London in 26 years. But I got a team because I want to be a supporter, and that is where, at least when I became a soccer fan, the best players were. And they still are in terms of the league itself. To me, if you've got half the best players in the world on one side and half the best players in the world on the other, I'm about half as interested in committing to one or the other. It is hard for me. I'm still going to watch, just so we're clear. But it's hard for me to get jacked about the PGA Pro-Am at Pebble Beach when half the best players in the world aren't there. And Rory McIlroy said that. He said, look, if I win this thing, I want to stand on the green at 18 and get my trophy and know that I beat all of the world's best to win that tournament. If I'm going to win another major, I want to know that I beat the list of the world's best, not half of it. And I kind of understand that viewpoint, man. I kind of get it. Because as a fan, I feel the same way. Am I intrigued by the UFL? Yes, I am. And I'll tell you why. It's not because I think I'm going to get spectacular football. I'm not. The draw of the UFL is not you're going to get great football. The draw of the UFL is twofold. Number one, it's a rules experiment laboratory for the NFL, and I do think you're going to see some rules tested there that will make their way to the league, A. And B, I am watching to see if there are any standout players in the UFL that we might be talking about in the NFL one day. We've seen that in the past. He hate me getting his opportunity to become a special teams ace because of his performance in the original XFL. I'm not going to watch it because it's got great ball. I'm going to watch it because of how it impacts the league that has great ball. When it comes to the NBA, quick question. Name me 3 G League Ignite teams. Anybody? Bueller? No? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's not because there's not great players at that level. There are. We've seen some really good G League players make their way to the show. You're not watching it because it's not the best possible basketball. This is the reason I want the PGA Tour to keep going out of their way, to keep listening to what the players are saying that they want, that they need. You're still going to have your back against the wall. Because the Live Tour is playing with the unlimited money cheat code turned on. They do not have a value on the dollar because they have unlimited dollars. That's why Cristiano Ronaldo is playing in Saudi Arabia. It's not because they have great soccer there. It's because they're paying him $1 billion. That is why Lionel Messi playing for Inter Miami was a coup for the MLS. Because Saudi Arabia was going to literally pay him $1 billion to play football there. And he said, no, I'm going to go to America. That was a win for MLS. That's why Messi is being trotted out on every single broadcast. But that's what you're up against. You're up against a country and a public investment fund that is willing to give a soccer player $1 billion. I don't know that every soccer player in MLS combined is making $1 billion if you take Messi out of the equation. So yes, this is a big move to me. This is a huge thing for the world of golf. And if you're a golf fan, this is the most important story since the Live Tour. Since that bombshell got dropped on us. Because most of those players, when they left, had made it abundantly clear. This is about money and ownership over the league, if you want to call it that, the association that we perform for and make money for. This is about us getting some control back of a product that is carried by us. It's the same thought as NIL, just on a completely different level. No one has ever tuned in to see what Jay Monahan is going to do with his next executive order in the PGA Tour. What they tune in for is to see if John Rahm is going to knock down that 32-foot flop shot with that near side pin position right on the other side of the bunker. So the PGA Tour coming up with this investment. And instead of saying, yo, we're going to take this $3+ billion with a B dollars, and we're going to pay Jay Monahan more. We're going to pay this administrator more. And we're going to do, no, they went, yeah, we're going to give a solid chunk of this to the guys on the tour. We're going to let a solid chunk of these guys make more money, have more involvement, have more equity in this whole thing. And we're going to do that so that they want to be here. It is one thing to let somebody be a part of a thing. It's another thing to let them have some ownership over it. I want the station to do very well. But I am always going to grind more when my show with my name has a premier spot on it, right? That makes me want to push even harder for all of us to kick ass. Because I have some level of ownership. My name is stamped on the brand. So is Roy McIlroy's. So that's not to say that you're going to see a billion guys jump over and leave the Live Tour to come home. But I think you'll see a couple. And if it works well and there's more profit and down the line, that 3.1 becomes 3.5 bill and then 3.5 comes 3.75. And the equity starts to go up for these players and they start making more money just for being there. Not even performance rated, just for staying on the tour. I think you'll see guys move over. And I think you will end up seeing the tour start to claw back at the Live Tour. And I think that's good news for everybody. I really do. All right, 844-326-3663. Texture said Rory is just happy that PGA players are actually going to get some cash now. Also, too many of his friends and top players are going to Live. Yeah, for sure. I do believe Rory when he says, I want all the best players on this tour. I want to be able to say I beat the world's best, not half of them. But I also believe, and Rory has not shied away from saying, we want some ownership. We want some control. We want some of the cut, not just from purses for winning, but for the fact that people are tuning in to watch us win or lose. Texas said, I'm all for keeping traditions and history for the sport, but last season's interview on Full Swing with DJ made it hard to argue when he talks. So I got to go find the back half of that test because it felt like it was going in a positive direction. When he talks about playing less and being paid more, everyone works to achieve that goal. Oh, for sure. They're playing 3-day tournaments, not 4. They're playing about a half of the events, and they're making more money. If the goal is exclusively work less, make more, Live Tour is going to be good for you. But that's why I think giving ownership of the tour itself to the players is about the best you can compete with. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in a minute. Got a few more stories that I want to knock out. Then we'll ask what the X is going on. And then we'll call it a day.
You sick freak.
I just hadn't had a reason to play that yet today, and I wanted to. It's Rob Alonzo. It's you. It's the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate. Champagne price, ham sandwich quality. I love it. All right, guys, I'm going to step away for 45 seconds. I'll be right back. Thanks for hanging in there, my dudes and dudettes. Wesley, happy Friday, my guy.
All sides with Mark Wright, 3 to 7 p.m. today on the Fan Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app.
Eagles Markets is a proud sponsor of the Mark Ryan Sports Stick. From the playing field to the stands to your own living room, Eagles Markets has everything you need to fuel your athlete or satisfy all the hungry fans in your life.
Low prices, love the savings.
It's 2024. We know all about trends and the cult-like following they have online. But unlike all those trends that come and go, Mountain Dew Baja Blast has been enjoyed by generations with its ocean-like color and tropical lime flavor that keeps fans coming back for more. It's bold and refreshing. Don't you think that's worth celebrating? We sure do. That's why we're finally giving the people what they want. Baja Blast.
Give the people what they want.
That's right. Baja Blast is now in stores.
Not hugging you.
Do what?
I'm not hugging you.
Give the people what they want, Lonzo.
We can't zoom in on the cameras, so we can't.
Pick up some Baja Blast today at a store near you. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 18 plus. Subject to official rules at BajaBlast.com and 6/15/24. Void where prohibited.
Big truck. I'm gonna, Monday is gonna be bittersweet because the meat truck's gonna be gone.
Meat truck.
And we won't hear any more about the meat truck unless he moves to another location.
I wonder what the meat truck's advertising budget is.
I don't know.
I'm tempted to go ask.
You can make EBT echo in your commercial.
Legendary.
It's a shame, Joe, that when I read that, I hear it in my head.
There was a butcher shop in Florida that ran with the slogan, "You can't beat our meat." And it's like it's so easy, and I'm so glad you went for it. My favorite advertisement ever was it was called the Window Company in Fort Walton Beach. It was a like a blind and sheet, what do you call them? Curtain company, right? All they did was window dressings. And the logo was on the side of the truck, but the back of the van, they drove these big vans. The back of the van was solid white, no advertisement on it, except for a yellow bumper sticker or painting on the truck or whatever that just said, "Caution, blind man driving." And I thought, that's genius, because what are you going to do? You're going to try your best to get up to the side of that van to look at that driver, and all you're going to see is their big advertisement on the side. It was brilliant.
That's a good move.
Yeah.
Hey, Big Daddy, how you doing?
Great, Corey. Real good. Real good. About a half an hour left of the show. You want to get in, 844-326-3663. That is the renewal by Anderson of the Carolinas fan phone, 844-326-3663. We'd love to have you on. Do want to take just a brief moment to remind you that your home for Super Bowl 58 is the Fan Upstate.
Wait, well, what'd you call that?
I called it what it is called, Super Bowl 58. And we, unlike other radio stations, are allowed to call it that because, Lonzo,
you could hear it right here starting not this Sunday, but the following Sunday at 2 p.m.
Please don't tune in for the Super Bowl this Sunday. You'll be sorely disappointed. But Next Sunday, you can. Wall-to-wall coverage. What was it, like 4 hours of pregame?
Like I said, it starts at 2 p.m.
Yeah. 4 hours of pregame. The game
Kickoff
itself,
is like
post-game after.
Kickoff's like after 6, like 6:12.
6:05, 6:07, something like that. Either way, point is, you can hear that game right here and only on the Fan Upstate, and big game coverage on the Fan Upstate presented by Solo Stove. Feel the heat of the world's most popular smokeless fire pit. Go to solostove.com. All right. Get another story or two in here before we call it a day. I do like this. There has been obviously a lot made this year of a lack of holding calls across the National Football League. A lot made, and some teams get away with it more than others, if we're being honest. And Nick Bosa of the San Francisco 49ers has fired the first shot. Pass rushing expert Nick Bosa was asked during a news conference yesterday if anything stood out to him about the guys he will spend most of the Super Bowl up against, Jawan Taylor and Donovan Smith. His answer was 4 words long. He said, quote, "They hold a lot," end quote. I like this from Bosa. Because right or wrong, true or not, by bringing it up, by pointing it out, you've put it on the radar. You've put it on the radar because now everybody connected to this game is going to be watching the left tackles. And if everybody's watching the left tackles, the officials have got to be doing it too. They are not going to be able to. In fact, they have probably got to treat the left tackles with a little extra due diligence, because the last thing they want is Bosa to say they hold a lot. They hold a lot, not a lot of calls. And win or lose, Bosa comes out in the presser and goes, "I told you."
All right. So, Rob, as knower of ball, can you tell me which football team, no matter what level, does not hold?
They all hold. Everybody holds. There's a hold. The old cliche, the old adage goes,
and be careful
on
what,
every play.
Be careful what you point out, Nikki, because you pointed out it's Nicky Bosa, man.
Nicky
play for the Buckeyes. You can call him Nicky.
Light his ass up.
Because pointing it out on one side means they might actually be looking on your side too.
You're not wrong.
I mean, they might just look over there and find out that San Francisco's offensive line also holds.
I like that. You're not wrong. I agree with you. But I like that. I still like that if you're San Francisco, because I will take requiring my tackles to be more disciplined if it springs Nick Bosa, right? If and for the record, I kind of agree with Nick Bosa. I do. I think Kansas City, and I think there are teams. I think Baltimore's in this group. I think Kansas City's in this group. I think most teams that have elite mobile quarterbacks get away with a lot more holding.
By the way, I hope in the offseason that Kansas City gets rid of both tackles and brings in some other ones, because they've been nothing but trouble the entire season.
Jawan, the false start machine, Taylor. What do you have? Didn't he have 2 on one of the pivotal drives against Baltimore last week? Like back to back.
Yeah, as soon as you hear holding, you know it's one tackle or the
77.
other. You know it's one of them.
Yeah. I think he had 2 on back-to-back plays on 1st and 5 or something. Ended up turning it into 1st and 25 on a pivotal drive, like a game-breaking drive. I actually think Nick Bosa is right. And I think to put it on the radar is good. And even if it makes the life of San Francisco's offensive tackles that much more difficult, I would rather trust that my offensive tackles will play good, clean, disciplined football if it means that Nick Bosa just became more dangerous. Because the best way to beat Kansas City, the best way to beat playoff Patrick
is to score more points than him.
Well, it's a real good strategy. I agree. You should be an offensive coordinator. The best way to keep playoff Patrick is to contain him. I don't mean contain him in terms of the numbers. I mean literally contain him in the pocket. Do not let him get wide of the pocket. If Pat Mahomes gets outside of the tackle box, you're beat. You're beat. He's going to find somebody, or he's going to throw one of those running pump fakes that for some reason after 6 years still gets defenders off their feet. Did you see Travis Kelce throw a running pump fake last week? They went on the quick out to Travis Kelce running left. He gets to the line. He goes pump fake, and it worked. It was incredible. The best way to beat Patrick Mahomes is do not let him get into space. Do not let him break. Contain. That's the job of defensive ends. Defensive ends who are, of course, lined up primarily against, actually almost exclusively against offensive tackles. I need to do everything in my power to ensure that my defensive ends on both sides of the football have the best possible opportunity for success. Because if Jawan Taylor is getting away with a hold on my defensive end and it is resulting in Patrick Mahomes getting outside of the tackle box and being able to make a move out wide, I'm beat. I'm beat. Second time I'm bringing him up this week when I played defensive end at the middle school level. To be ever so prestigious, Meg's Middle School in Shalimar, Florida. I'm sure you've all heard of it. We were a middle school powerhouse when I played DN there. And the reason I bring up middle school football so much is if you've ever been around it, middle school football is built on learning how to play football. It is built on these are the foundations of these positions. I'm not asking you to go be a star. You're a damn seventh grader. I'm asking you to learn what a defensive end does and do that and nothing extra. And Tom Grant, an old, gruff 1950s coach stuck in the 1990s. Tom Grant wore, Lonzo, he wore those gray standard gym PE shorts that every PE teacher had in the 70s and 80s. He was wearing those in the late 90s.
Do you have long socks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
With the colored band around the top of the calf.
Right. Tube socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want you to imagine a cartoon 1980s PE teacher. Now make him fat, and that was Tom Grant.
I was going to say, I had PE in the 80s, and they definitely look like that.
That, but fat and old and a gruff old ex-Marine, Tom Grant. Tom Grant would say to his defensive ends, hit, sit, eyes to the nearest back that can hurt you. And if the ball crosses your face, you're done because you're not doing your job. At the core, even at the NFL level, that's a DN's job. Do not let that football get across your face. If that football crosses your face, the whole team is beat. Everybody on the field has one core rule on any given snap. That if they let that rule be violated, the whole defense has lost the play. For a defensive end, if that ball crosses your face, you have lost. So if I'm Nick Bosa, if I'm the 49ers, I'm doing everything in my power to give my defensive ends the best possible shot at not letting that rule be violated. And it's one thing if that rule gets violated, but the quarterback is Kenny Pickett. It's an entirely different ball game if that rule gets violated and it's Patrick Mahomes, because he's going to kill you. He's going to improv out there on the edge, and it's going to kill you. Jawan Taylor, by the way, the NFL's most penalized player during the regular season, 19 penalties called and accepted, 3 more called and declined, 7 of those for holding, tied amongst offensive linemen for the most in football. Also drew a league-high 9 false start penalties. On the other side, Smith drew 5 holding penalties, 2 behind his league-leading teammate. So, yeah, I love this from Nick Bosa. So much of the game of football, even at the NFL level, is played off the field. It is coaches taking that tablet, drawing up the plays. It's getting them called. It's personnel management, getting the right guys on and off the field. It's quarterbacks reading and adjusting to the defense. It's defenses trying to disguise and confuse the quarterback. This is why we have pointed out, I love pointing out, that in an NFL football game, from snap to whistle, if you only include snap to whistle, you watch about 4 minutes of the ball in play. Yet we'll sit and watch a 3.5-hour broadcast. Why? Because the game is played when the ball's not in play too. The game is played with substitutions. The game is played with motion. The game is played with adjustments, with audibles, with disguises and coverages. That is where the game is played. And Nick Bosa is playing the game a week and 2 days early. I want for a week. People are going to be asking Nick Bosa, Kyle Shanahan, the 49er defense about this comment. Do you think they hold? Do you think that they will be penalized in this game? How do you think it's going to impact the game itself? And when next Sunday rolls around, if you are the referee in charge, Vinovich, the guy who was the captain of the crew that had the most egregious missed call in the history of the National Football League. Fight me, bro.
So according to you, I'm good then, because he's not going to see any of those holding calls, so I don't need to worry about it.
If the script says the Chiefs win.
Well, according to you, he's the worst NFL referee of all time, and he misses stuff all the time, so he's going to miss that holding.
I don't know if he's the worst of all time, but he most certainly has the worst call of all time for sure. He might not be the worst NFL ref ever, but he does have the worst NFL miss ever for sure.
I'm disappointed. I was hoping that we would be Hussey, because he's my favorite referee, John Hussey.
Let's go down on the field. Get it, Hussey. Anyway, keeping an eye on this matchup all game long. Genuinely will be. And if you're Andy Reid, by the way, ain't you going to Jawan today and being like, my guy, if you get whistled in the first quarter for a hold, I'm going to murder you. I'm going to kill you. You cannot do that now. You are under the microscope for this game. It is something that fans all year long have complained about with Kansas City. You are under the microscope now, courtesy of one Nick Bosa. Sorry, Nicky.
Don't make us Kadarius Toney you, because we'll do it.
Hey, Kadarius is off the he's off the injury missed practice
Yeah,
list.
I know, but why would he want to play for that team after all the things that he said?
Right.
Maybe, money and rings, maybe.
That is the good reasons. Those are the two good reasons. My dude's gone with a capital G at the end of this year, though, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Gone with a capital G when it's all said and done. All right. Speaking of gone, this segment is, we got to take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, couple more thoughts that we have seen out there. And then we do a little what the X is going on. And then we go home for the week and get set up, ladies and gentlemen, for what you are all waiting for. The game of the week, of the century, the Pro Bowl. Can't wait. The Rob Brown Show rolls on after this. It is the Fan Upstate. Do.
Open up spring training play February the 24th against Tampa. Men's college hoops on Thursday. High Point improved to 8-0 in the Big South with a 93-76 win over Longwood. High Point led at 50-31 at the half. UNC Wilmington beat Charleston 80-74. Both teams now 6-3 in the Colonial. NC beat Hampton 59-58. Campbell with a 69-67 win at Elon. The Fan Upstate is your home for Furman Paladins basketball play-by-play live all season long. Download the Odyssey app, search the Fan Upstate, and listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders. That's the Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Sick and tired of aching joints? Dread the idea of surgery? You need to call QC Kinetics today. Hey, it's Charlie James. The state of healthcare is always changing. The old ideas like steroids and surgery are no longer your only option. Regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics is transforming lives with innovative, non-surgical, drug-free treatments that deliver lasting results. Knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain from arthritis or injury? Don't let this pain keep you from living your best life. QC Kinetics' advanced state-of-the-art treatments harness and direct your body's natural ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue.
You should apologize for that, Stephen. Everyone should, especially in my current condition. Laughing out loud could cause a 10-minute coughing fit.
And without harmful drugs. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772, Greenville and Asheville.
Golfers, the best upstate deal on golf is back and on sale now. The 2024 Upstate Golf Card gives you a round of golf at 7 premier upstate courses, and it's only $80. Order at upstategolfcard.com. 7 rounds of golf for only $80. Upstategolfcard.com.
Next big challenge, can I make it through 2 hours tomorrow? I don't know.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I was just sent this from the Madre. There is defensive end all-timer, number 76 in the program, number 1 in your heart, the Rob Brown.
I was going to joke that you're 76, but you actually are 76.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That is me. That is Nick Thomas wearing number 35, Joel Hernandez in 81. Guy with his number block, Frank Spitznagel, number 36, 53, Travis Michael Allen. Guess what position Frank Spitznagel played?
I hope he was a tough kid. I mean, that's a rough last name to have to deal with.
Frank was the guy that was on the basketball team specifically to be the technical foul guy.
Okay.
Like if a guy's getting out of check and he needs to be slowed down, hey, Spitznagel. And he would check in, go get his tee, and sit back down. That's all he did. And he loved it. It was his favorite thing. Dude was a lunatic.
The most important part is the one you need now, and the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger.
Yes, I'm Bigfoot.
And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders.
Maybe it'll fix itself. I don't know. Otherwise,
it's because you put the phone up there in it, and
yeah,
had to focus in on that, and then.
He was a middle linebacker fullback. All right, seriously though, why? Hey, if it fixes, it fixes. I don't know what to tell you. I got nothing. The Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob Brown, the great with Lonzo on the other side of metaphorical glass today. If you'd like to be a part of the program, now's an opportunity to do so. Let's throw this one out there just because I think it's fun. Kevin Durant, the Durantula, said yesterday that imagining what could have been when he was a part of the super team that the New Jersey Nets, the Brooklyn Nets, tried to build. He said imagining what that team could be is a pointless exercise. A pointless exercise. That kind of feels like a cop-out to me, right? Like that kind of feels weak, Kev. When asked about his lack of success in Brooktown, Durant said he looked at success like this, quote, as an individual, I was an all-star every year, leading vote getter every year in the all-star game, sold a lot of jerseys, 50, 40, 90, average 30, all NBA. Was that successful? But Team success is a different thing. How the team does, you like to put that one on one of the best players and call it a failure. But you look at the work and you want to talk about me individually, you can't just look at the work that I've put in. I think I've grown as a player. I think I'm on my way to mastering the game. Coming here helped to push me closer to that, and that's what I take from my time there.
I made my money, yo.
Dude, what a bad take from Kev, man. He said, I mean, it's just a pointless exercise, in my opinion, to think about what could have been. What happened, that's just what I thought about it. What actually happened in the reality of it, we didn't have enough time together. That's just it. Guys wanted to go their separate ways. We tried our hardest to salvage everything and bring everything together. We had 3 or 4 different teams for when I signed here to when I left. Kev. What are we talking about, my guy? What are we talking about? Yes, you had a bunch of guys that wanted to leave. Why? Because they couldn't work with you, brother. Because they couldn't work with you. They couldn't work with each other. James,
brother,
Kyrie, these guys could not work with you, Kev.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
It's kind of on you, buddy. I mean, it's on them too. I'm not disagreeing. But I'm going to say it's not a point. Okay, yes, is it a pointless exercise? Sure. We can't go back in time and fix it or change it. Absolutely, completely, and entirely agree. You are correct, Kev. Nothing's going to change. But if you don't think that we, the fans of the National Basketball Association, didn't get cheated out of what coulda, shoulda, woulda gone down as one of the best basketball teams ever assembled.
Ain't nobody thought that thing was going to work.
No, but you hoped it would. Could you imagine if those guys on that Nets team would have been on the same page? Durant, Irving, Harden. If those guys were able to coexist, were able to operate on the same page, I said when they signed him, this thing, in fact, I can go back and probably pull the tape on it. My take on that was then, Lonzo, one of 2 things is going to happen. And there's only 2 possible outcomes. Outcome number 1 is you guys are about to see the greatest offensive basketball team ever assembled. This team's going to average 140 a game. Or the other option, it is going to explode hysterically. Turns out, I was right, Kev.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
Take that, Kev. All right.
Kev!
Time to see what the X is going on.
Nikki!
The first thing that's Xing is Johnny Ace.
What an absolutely disgusting, evil, awful, terrible situation has involved around Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis. It's evil. There's no other way to put it. What these 2 guys did, if what they did in the reports is true, and I'll tell you, the fact that there has been exactly in 0-0 pushback says it is. What is in these reports? I read that lawsuit, 63 pages of it, and it churned my stomach. It's disgusting to the point that I had a brief second where I was like, I don't know if I can watch the Rumble. I don't know, because there's people in power at this company still who had to have known this was going on, who had to have read those texts, heard this. Vince was going around telling people what was happening with this thing. And it's hard to just be okay with it.
Well, Johnny's out there apparently saying he was a victim.
Oh, yeah. No,
that
for
he
sure,
was,
John.
the things that he did, he was being forced to do.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, we all believe that. Dude, shut the hell up, dude. Shut up.
All right, the next thing that's Xing is Larry David.
So I don't know if it's a new season or if it's like just a new run of the show or
he
what.
should be called up for assault for what he did. That's what he's being Xing.
What'd he do?
He beat up Elmo yesterday on live TV.
Okay. Elmo's having a week, dude. Elmo, what? All right. Was this like on his TV show?
No, he was on
he was on Sesame Street?
Today Show or something like that.
And he
oh, there's video. He was there was battery for sure on Elmo.
Okay, obviously, I mean, you can move on to the next one, but I just found it. Apparently, Al Roker's involved.
Yeah, it's hard to watch, Rob. It really is. You know, Elmo doesn't deserve that kind of stuff.
Was he really beaten up, or was he just playing with him? Was he just toying with Elmo?
You know what? One person's beat down is another person's caress. I don't know.
Oh man, I love Larry David. I do. The dude's hilarious. I think he was just playing with Elmo. Here's the thing. Larry David's entire career has been based around being just a cynical old guy.
Yeah.
Right? And Elmo unleashed all of us the other day when he said, just checking in, how's everybody? And America went, not great, Elmo. Not great. Larry David was just kind of speaking on behalf of America.
All right. The next thing is Xing is Ned Ryerson.
I got nothing. Why?
Ned Ryerson?
Oh, because I'm such an idiot. Listen, I told you guys, the only good thing about Groundhog's Day is the movie. Outside of that, I don't care. I don't want to hear about Puxatawney Phil. I don't want to hear about winter or spring. You know how I know if there's going to be 6 more months of winter or weeks or whatever it is? If there's a cold front that comes through, it's going to stay cold. And if there's a cold front not coming through, it's going to warm up. Not the groundhog. Stop with the groundhog. I don't care about the groundhog.
Hey, stop with your science nonsense. It's all about the groundhog, man. That's nature's way of telling us what's going on.
Ned? All right, that's it for us. We got to go. That's the end of the week. I hope you all enjoyed it. We're going to come back next week and try even harder. Plus, on top of that, it's Super Bowl week next week. So we're going to be talking a lot of NFL championship. Plus, we got to start continuing to make the slow transition over to basketball season, my friends, because there ain't no off season on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. See you on Monday. Yeah. Yes, we did it. We made it.
Meat truck!
Meat truck. Do you want meat? Do you care if it's out of a truck? Meat truck.
Glad we got to hear the meat truck one last time before we get out.
I know.
Hope so, Steven.
All right, dudes. Thank you guys and dudettes. Thank you guys for hanging. Hope you enjoyed the show. Have a lovely weekend. Follow me on social media. I'll be at the hockey game tonight and tomorrow if anybody's going to be there. Bet for the Cycle noon to 4 tomorrow. I'll put it up on my social media. You can follow there. Anything else we need to shamelessly self-promote before we get out of here?
Do the Upstate Pulse 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow night.
Oh, well, that's what see tomorrow, man. I guess we should tell people where to see.
Yeah. It's 106. No, 98.9. I'm sick. WORD or Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X, right where you're watching right now.
Tune in. Will Pappy be there?
He's pretty sick. So it might be a 2-man crew tomorrow.
Upstate Pulse.
Doesn't mean it will be any less good.
It'll be spectacular.
Yeah.
As always. Y'all have a lovely weekend. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. See you back here Monday. Goodbye. I'm still blurry.